This is Guardian Radio, your station for up-to-the-minute news and intelligent, interactive, and engaging conversations. 96.9 FM. The views and opinions of the hosts and guests are their own and do not necessarily reflect the views of the management and staff of Guardian Radio.
Good morning. Up in flames, a massive fire destroys 6 restaurants at Arawak-Key, the fish fry. That barge removed from the Abaco Reef. And Foreign Affairs Minister Fred Mitchell says Bahamian passports are secure. It's all straight ahead this morning. I'm Dwight Strachan, and this is Morning Blend.
Wake up, it's a new day. It's the start of a new way. Don't you know that it's the start of the end of the old way. Wake up, it's a new day. Wake up, it's a new day.
Good morning again, Bahamas. It is Monday, November 17th, 2025. This is Morning Blend on Guardian Radio 96.9. Again, I'm Dwight Strachan. In a moment, DeAndrew Cartwright will be joining us. That's all ahead. But first, it's time for the overnight, the latest breaking news from while we're sleeping, and the top national and international headlines this morning. In the overnight, a fire at the western end of Arawak-Key ripping through 6 restaurants at the popular cultural spot, leaving nearly 100 people out of a job and causing hundreds of thousands of dollars in damage. Prime Minister Philip Davis, who visited the scene yesterday, calling the fire a tragedy, telling reporters at the site that while it will take the affected businesses time to recover, the government will provide assistance right away, his words, to facilitate a return to normal at Arawak-Key. According to police, fire services received a call at about 8:45 a.m. Sunday about a fire at the fish fry. Officers met a 2-story wooden structure on fire. That fire spread to 5 neighboring stalls before it was extinguished around 11 a.m. Superintendent Quincy McGregor, administrator of police fire services, saying the blaze was aggressively attacked, brought under control and extinguished. However, he said the building where the fire started and 5 others nearby were damaged or outright destroyed. McGregor said 4 units responded to the scene within the first 5 minutes of the fire, and officers were able to extinguish the flames. Asked what caused the fire, McGregor could not say, adding that investigators are still investigating. The restaurants destroyed or damaged by the fire included Goldie's Conchhouse, Red Snapper, Trudy's, which appeared to be slightly damaged, On the Edge, south of Florida, and Brother Eddie's Kitchen. Arawak-Key's fish fry is a popular day and night spot for locals and tourists. Some of the damaged restaurants have been in operation for more than 30 years. The Prime Minister calling the incident a tragic blow to the economy. The Brooklyn Bridge barge, which ran aground on a reef off Abaco, has been refloated and removed, according to the Ministry of Energy and Transport. It noted that a preliminary environmental assessment will be carried out to determine any potential environmental impact. The statement says that should damages be identified, legal penalties will be imposed on the barge in accordance with established regulations. On Friday, Director of Communications in the Office of Prime Minister Trey Ramming said the owners of the barge would face a hefty fine for an environmental breach. The vessel, according to Ramming, in question is already in an environmental breach with impending fines. The Port Department said arrangements were underway to tow the barge to Jacksonville, Florida, where it will undergo a thorough inspection and inventory review. Trailer Bridge, the company that owns the barge, said the divers inspected the vessel and determined there was no damage and that it was approved to sail. The barge, which was loaded with shipping containers wrecked on the reef last week, was soon after raided by looters who hauled away boatloads of goods. Trailer Bridge CEO Mitch Luciano thanking the U.S. Coast Guard, the U.S. Navy, and others who took action to, quote, help ensure our safety and establish a presence of Bahamian police to secure the barge and what was left of the cargo. Foreign Affairs Minister Fred Mitchell dismissing claims from the FNM and FNM leader Michael Pintar that there's been a security breach with respect to the issuance of Bahamian passports. Mitchell said Bahamian documents are secure and issued under very strict guidelines. He was speaking at the opening of the Embassy Locker's new facility on Shirley Street Friday. Quote, there's no question that our documents are internationally accepted up to the highest standards and that the release of those documents are done to very, very strict guidelines. And when loose attacks are made in public for what seems to be reasons other than common sense and evidence, it undermines the authenticity of our documents. A corrections officer who's facing a string of murder conspiracy charges denied plotting to kill her boss Friday. Prosecutors allege that authorities foiled the plan by 22-year-old Shantae Taylor and another person to bump off corrections officer Charles Curtis on July 30th, 2024. Taylor is alleged to have discussed the plan during a WhatsApp conversation. She's free on $20,000 bail. She denied the allegation at her arraignment before Justice Wilhelmina Archer-Mins. She's represented by David Cash and has been suspended and placed on half pay pending the outcome of the case. The matter has been assigned to Justice Renee McKay, and she will fix a trial date on November 27th. Taylor is also facing trial in connection with the plot to kill Elvardo Thompson Jr., who was murdered outside her home in Pinecrest Gardens on July 20th, 2024. Jamal Hamilton, Dondre McRamsey, and Shanton McSweeney and Vernal Brown are accused of conspiring to murder Thompson along with Taylor and committing the crime. They are expected to be tried before Justice Neil Brathwaite next year. And a man denying involvement in a hit-and-run robbery that left James Lee Richmond dead. Prosecutors say the 19-year-old Richmond was deliberately knocked off his Yamaha bike on June 23, 2024 as he rode along Robinson Road. The bike was stolen and Richmond died as a result. It's alleged that Thomas Johnson, also known as Tommy, was found in possession of the stolen bike. He's also accused of being an accessory after the fact to Richmond's murder and armed robbery. Johnson, who's on remand, denied the allegations at his arraignment before Justice Wilhelmina Archer-Mins. The matter has been transferred to Justice Dale Fitzpatrick for trial. Johnson is expected to learn his trial date on November 21st. Overseas, U.S. President Donald Trump saying Sunday the U.S., quote, may be having some discussions with Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro, a potential diplomatic avenue as the U.S. further builds up its military presence near the South American country with the arrival of its most advanced aircraft carrier. Trump didn't offer details about the possible discussions with Maduro, but he said, quote, Venezuela would like to talk. The U.S. military has been carrying out a series of strikes against vessels suspected of transporting drugs. The arrival of the U.S. Gerald R. Ford and other warships, announced by the Navy in a statement, marks a major moment in what the administration insists is a counter-drug operation, but has been seen as an escalating pressure tactic against Maduro. When asked Sunday what he meant when he said Maduro wants to talk, Trump simply said, quote, what does it mean? You tell me, I don't know. He added a few moments later, quote, I'll talk to anybody, we'll see what happens. The Venezuelan government didn't immediately reply to a request for comment. Maduro, who faces charges of narco-terrorism in the U.S., has said the U.S. government is fabricating a war against him. That warship rounds off the latest buildup of U.S. firepower in the region in generations, with the arrival of the Operation Southern Spear mission includes nearly a dozen Navy ships and about 12,000 sailors and Marines. And a Hartwright, former lawmaker and admirer of U.S. President Donald Trump, held the upper hand as Chile headed to a polarizing presidential runoff against a member of Chile's Communist Party, representing the incumbent government. Jose Antonio Cast, an ultra-conservative lawyer opposed to abortion and same-sex marriage, appears to be in pole position after nearly 70% of votes went to right-wing candidates in Sunday's first round, as many Chileans worry about organized crime, illegal immigration, and unemployment in one of the Latin America's safest and most prosperous nations. Cast is a surprise frontrunner who speaks fondly of aspects of the country's period of dictatorship and broke with the traditional conservative party to found his own Republican Party. He came in second with nearly 24% of the vote after campaigning on plans to crack down on crime, build a giant border wall, and deport tens of thousands of undocumented migrants. Meanwhile, Jeanette Jara, a former labor minister in President Gabriel Boric's left-wing government, eked out a narrower-than-expected lead with 27% of the vote. She wants to expand Chile's social safety net and tackle money laundering and drug trafficking. Neither contender received more than 50% of the overall vote count, sending the poll to a second round of voting on December 14th. And Congo and Rwanda backed rebel group M23, signing a framework agreement for a peace deal, the latest step in the so far unsuccessful efforts to end the decades-long conflict in eastern Congo. Earlier this year, M23 seized Goma and Bakuva, two key cities in eastern Congo, in a major escalation of the conflict. Backed by neighboring Rwanda, M23 is the most prominent of more than 100 armed groups fighting for control in Congo's mineral-rich east. With 7 million people displaced, the conflict in Congo has been described by the UN as one of the most protracted, complex, serious humanitarian crises on Earth. The agreement signed in Doha on Saturday, following mediation by Qatar and the United States, is not yet a final peace agreement, but rather a framework outlining the measures required to reach one, according to the head of the M23 delegation. The Congolese government said in a statement that the framework agreement signed on Saturday includes 8 measures that serve as a basis for a peace deal. 2 of the measures, agreements on the release of prisoners and the creation of a ceasefire oversight body, were already signed in September and October. The 6 other measures, which in part include the restoration of state authority in rebel-controlled areas, humanitarian access, and the resettlement of refugees, will be subject to discussion and negotiation in the next 2 weeks. And South Africa's intelligence services are investigating who's behind a chartered plane that landed in Johannesburg with more than 150 Palestinians from war-ravaged Gaza who did not have proper travel documents and were held on board on the tarmac for about 12 hours as a result. The plane landed Thursday morning at OR Tambo International Airport, but passengers were not allowed to disembark until late that night after immigration interviews with the Palestinians found that they could not say where or how they were staying in South Africa. It said the Palestinians also did not have exit stamps or slips that would normally be issued by Israeli authorities to people leaving Gaza. The actions of South African authorities in initially refusing to allow the passengers off the plane provoked fierce criticism from non-governmental organizations, who said the 153 Palestinians, including families with children and one woman who was 9 months pregnant, were kept in dire conditions on the plane, which was extremely hot and had no food or water. In sports, despite falling to the U.S. Virgin Islands on the final day of the 2025 FIBA Women's Caribbean Championships, the Bahamas senior women's national basketball team finished among the top 3 squads and consequently has qualified for the 2026 Central Basket Women's Championship. The USVI led by as many as 24 points and won by that margin, running away with a 105-81 victory in Georgetown, Guyana on Sunday. With the loss, the Bahamas finished with a 2-2 win-loss record and had to wait for the conclusion of the late game between host country Guyana and Jamaica to be confirmed as a top 3 spot. In the tournament, the USVI topped the standings with a perfect 4-0 record in the single round-robin tournament. The Bahamas is third, Guyana finished second. Jamaica had to settle for fourth. You read more about that in today's Guardian Sports section. The Bahamas senior men's national soccer team dropping their 2 international friendlies against Anguilla and the British Virgin Islands, wrapping up the inaugural 2025 CONCACAF friendly series with a winless 0-2 record over the weekend. Playing out of Group D, the national team opened the series with a narrow 2-1 loss to Anguilla. In Georgetown, Cayman Islands last Wednesday, the team followed up that performance with another loss, this time to BVI, 6-0 on Saturday. The 2025 CONCACAF Friendly Series was introduced with the goal of allowing member nations to compete in development matches during the 2025 FIFA off-cycle. Team Bahamas' head coach Kevin Davies giving his assessment of the team's performance. You can read all about that in today's Guardian Sports section. And Bahamian judoka Kara Hanna set a goal to win a medal at the Montreal Pan American Open, and she did just that over the weekend in Montreal. The 25-year-old Hannah left the competition with a gold medal in the women's plus 78 kilograms class. Hannah defeated Canadian Frederique Lavigne via Ippon in the opening round of the competition, went on to face American Jessica Alenick in the final and prevailed via Nippon in the gold. With the gold, her performance extra special as she earned the Bahamas' first senior gold medal on the International Judo Federation's World Ranking Circuit. From NFL football action Sunday, the Philadelphia Eagles are positioned again to make a strong run at another Super Bowl, not solely on the arm of Jalen Hurts, the legs of Saquon Barkley, and other marquee offensive players, but on defense that has churned out a string of masterpieces that fired them to the top of the NFC. Jalen Carter, Jordan Davis, Jalen Phillips, Nakobe Dean, some of the names that you will be hearing a lot about over the next few weeks. The Lions, Detroit Lions, were just the latest playoff hopeful to have their best efforts derailed by the Eagles. Hurts scored the only touchdown in an otherwise feeble effort from the Philadelphia Eagles offense, and it was enough to lead them to a 16-9 win over the Lions, who failed on every fourth down try Sunday night. The Eagles now are 8-2, the only team in the NFC East with more than 3 wins, and the second one in the conference to 8 victories, putting them in pole position to take the top seed and earn home field advantage as the Super Bowl champions go on for a repeat. And Aaron Rodgers spending the first half of Sunday trying to will the Pittsburgh Steelers into the kind of offensive rhythm that's been elusive of late. The 4-time MVP spent the second half in the locker room, his 41-year-old left wrist aching and his status uncertain for the final stretch of his 21st and perhaps final season. Rodgers watched from afar as backup Mason Rudolph and the Steelers pulled away for a 34-12 win over the Cincinnati Bengals. He did not return to the sideline at any point after injuring the wrist on his non-throwing hand during a stop-and-start first half, in which he was sacked once and hit illegally twice, both of which drew flags for roughing the passer. Pittsburgh coach Mike Tomlin said Rodgers will be evaluated today. That's sports, and that's the overnight. Time for your first look at weather. Your first look at weather brought to you by Star General. High pressure continues to dominate weather across the entire archipelago. Stable and dry conditions with light winds will continue today and continue for the next few days. For today, your forecast for most areas mostly sunny, turning fair at night, only about a 10% chance of isolated showers. Winds variable at 5 to 10 knots through tonight. High temperatures around 82 Fahrenheit, 28 Celsius. Overnight lows tonight getting down to the upper 60s for the northern half of the country, around 66, 67 Fahrenheit, 19 Celsius. The low 70s for the central and southeastern Bahamas, around 70, 71 Fahrenheit, 21 Celsius. That's your first look at weather this morning. We'll have your extended outlook and a look at the tropics coming up in just a bit. This weather check brought to you by Star General, insurance made simple.
Attention RBC clients. To comply with regulatory requirements and to avoid service interruption, you need to update your information at your RBC branch. While you're there, enroll in RBC Digital Banking for 24/7 access to your accounts anytime, anywhere. Update your information and bank at your convenience with RBC Digital Banking today.
Looking to elevate your gadget game, or are tech troubles simply slowing you down? Escape to a world of innovation at Custom Computers, your go-to store for the latest cutting-edge tech. Whether you need to upgrade your life with the best from Apple and Windows, or your device needs a little TLC, the Custom Computers Know-How Store is the destination for unbeatable expertise and quality repairs. With 2 convenient locations, there's a Custom Computers near you on Patton Street in Palmdale and Cades Village, or call 396-1100.
At CFAL, we understand that a secure future is the greatest gift you can give your employees. That's why our tailor-made group pension solutions are designed to fit the needs of both large and small companies. With CFAL, you can provide the retirement you and your employees deserve, ensuring peace of mind and financial stability for years to come. Join the many businesses that have already entrusted CFAL to create the right pension plan for their employees, and let us help you build a brighter future for your team. Visit us at cfal.com to get started on building wealth so you can live well. CFAL, growing wealth for future generations.
Transform your home for less at Kelly's House and Homes Holiday Paint Sale now through Wednesday, December 24th. Enjoy 25% off house and spray paints plus 20% off paint supplies, except on net items. Our wide selection of paint colors is the perfect way to bring holiday cheer to your home. You'll also find the best selection of brushes, rollers, pans, glue, ladders, paint thinner, and more. So catch the holiday spirit and paint up for Christmas at Kelly's House and Homes Holiday Paint Sale, going on now through December 24th.
'Tis the season for dreams to come true. There's Santa for the kids and CIBC Caribbean for you. Whether it's a house, land, vehicle, or upgrading your home, CIBC Caribbean can support your dreams with the financing you need. Enjoy incredible cashback deals with mortgages and land loans. Plus, your approved loan gives you a chance to win up to US $5,000. Apply now at www.cibccaribbean.com/sweetentheseason. Terms and conditions apply.
Are you searching for something new? Something exciting? Your dream job in paradise? Well, look no further. Royal Beach Club Paradise Island is hiring. Join a dynamic group of passionate hospitality professionals, craft unforgettable moments, and thrive in a vibrant, welcoming atmosphere. Play your part in shaping the future of our team while growing your own career every day. Bring your energy, your passion, and your creativity to a workplace that's as dynamic and fun as you are. At Royal Beach Club Paradise Island, the opportunities don't just exist. They're limitless. So are you ready to find your perfect fit? Visit Royal Beach Club at paradiseisland.com/career today and step into a world of exciting possibilities.
This is Guardian Radio 96.9 FM. Fresh news, smart talk, all day.
Wake up, it's a new day. Wake up, it's a new day. It's the start of a new way. Don't you know that it's the start of the end of the old way. Wake up, it's a new day. Wake up, it's a new day.
Welcome back to Morning Blend on Guardian Radio 96.9. We are streaming live on GuardianTalkRadio.com and on the Guardian Radio app for smart devices. We're also in your televisions on Cable Bahamas, Channel 969, and BTC Flow, Channel 612. You can tweet us at Morning Blend 969 or Facebook.com/Morning Blend 969. Text us 422-4796. Standard text rate supply. Once again, I'm Dwight Strachan. In a moment, DeAndrew Cartwright will be joining us, and we've got a lot to talk about in the news this morning. Let's get right into it. And in the news, just a real tragedy with the fish fry at Arawak Key yesterday. Up in flames, that's a headline in the Nassau Guardian. Fire destroys 6 restaurants at Arawak Key. My goodness. Just so sad and disturbing, the videos that came out yesterday as people were out there and saw it all burn literally to the ground. Our Tanika Thompson writes about it in today's Nassau Guardian. So, a fire at the western end of Arawak Key ripped through 6 restaurants at the popular cultural spot yesterday, leaving nearly 100 people out of work and causing hundreds of thousands of dollars in damage. Prime Minister Philip Davis, who visited the scene yesterday, called the fire a tragedy, telling reporters at the site that while it will take the affected businesses time to recover, the government will provide assistance right away to facilitate a return to normal at Arawak Key. So according to police, fire services received a call around 8:45 a.m. on Sunday about a fire at the fish fry at Arawak Key. Officers met a 2-story wooden structure on fire. The fire spread to 5 neighboring stalls before it was extinguished by around 11 a.m. Superintendent Quincy McGregor, administrator of Police Fire Services, said the blaze was aggressively attacked, brought under control, and extinguished, his words. However, he said the building where the fire started and 5 others nearby were destroyed or damaged or outright destroyed. McGregor said 4 units responded to the scene within the first 5 minutes of the fire, and officers were able to extinguish the flames. Asked what caused the fire, McGregor could not say, adding that officers were still investigating. So the restaurants destroyed or damaged by the fire included Goldie's Conch House, Red Snapper, Trudy's, which was only slightly damaged, it seems, On the Edge, South of Florida, and Brother Eddie's Kitchen. Could be more. Arawak Key, as you all know, the fish fry, is a popular day and night spot for locals and tourists. Some of the damaged restaurants have been in operation for more than 30 years. Prime Minister Davis said the incident is a tragic blow to the economy, saying, quote, "This is another tragedy that strikes at the heart of what I call our economy. Arawak Key has become a tourist attraction, serving Bahamian food. Our culture is displayed here very often, and so it is important for us to come out of this as quickly as possible. And we'll be meeting with the owners affected by the fire sometime today," he meant today. "We will try to start right away in bringing some assistance to ensure that normalcy returns to this side, the west side of Arawak Key." The Prime Minister said the incident creates the opportunity to think about the future of Arawak Key, saying, quote, "This gives us the opportunity for quite some time to think about how we could redevelop Arawak Key to ensure proper sanitization and sanitation, minimized fire hazards, and to ensure that the place is healthy. This gives us that opportunity to continue. We can start on this side, and that will be starting as soon as we start cleaning. He said the government will stand behind the business owners with the aim of getting the restaurants back up and running as soon as possible. So, as we said, many of the businesses have been there for quite some time. Probably the oldest, Goldie's Conch, one of the more popular restaurants there, has been in operation for 36 years. Some employees gathered at the scene in tears and overcome with disbelief at what had occurred. Kirkland Evans, whose father, Kirkwood Goldie Evans, owns Goldie's, said the restaurant employed about 70 people, saying, quote, "It's tragic for us. We've watched Goldie's all our life, so this is very sad for us. It's devastating news, but we trust God through it all. We believe that we'll rebuild stronger and better." Wow. Sunday is one of the busiest days for Arawak. Employees arrived at the restaurant as usual yesterday, expecting a normal workday. Some were in the building when the fire started, but were able to escape unharmed. Goldie himself, who was off the island yesterday, started the restaurant with just one table. According to his daughter, Kenya Mitchell, Mitchell asked for the community's support, insisting Goldie's would rebuild better. That fire caused more than $2 million in estimated damage, according to the president of the Arawak Fish, Vegetable, and Food Vendors Association, Rodney Russell. Russell, owner of Red Snapper, was one of the business owners who lost everything in the blaze. Wow. He says it's about $150,000 in structural damage with rake and scrape, and then $150,000 according with Goldie's, and so it's going to be in the millions according to him. So, and there's a whole lot more on all of this in today's papers. All right, so there's a statement from Goldie's and in one of the other restaurants, probably more, but I'll read what we have here. And just unbelievable stuff, eh? So Goldie's statement said, this was issued yesterday, quote, "Earlier today, Goldie's Conch House, along with several neighboring restaurants, experienced a devastating fire. We extend our sincere remorse to all who have been affected. While we have lost our building, our faith remains strong. We are incredibly thankful that no lives were lost, and we extend our heartfelt sympathy to every business affected. Goldie's has always been more than a restaurant. It's a gathering place, a family legacy, and a piece of the Bahamian story. Seeing it impacted in this way is truly heartbreaking, but we are choosing hope, we are choosing resilience, and we are choosing to move forward with determination. Thank you to the firefighters, emergency teams, and everyone who offered support, and to our loyal customers and community for your outpouring of love. This chapter is painful, but it is not the end. We will rebuild, return, and come back stronger. In the days ahead, we will share updates on our progress and ways you can support or get involved. For now, we ask for your continued prayers as we begin the process of restoration." And that's from the Goldie's Conch House family. Wow. And there is another statement from Joe's Seafood Restaurant and Lounge. This statement says, "In light of today's unfortunate fire at Arawak, we extend our deepest concern and remorse to the businesses and individuals affected. We also express our sincere gratitude to the first responders who acted swiftly and worked tirelessly to contain the situation. We would be remiss if we did not express that today's incident only further highlights the urgent need for improved emergency resources on the island. We intend to advocate for the development of a reliable system that ensures quick access to the fresh water during fire-related emergencies. Such infrastructure is essential to preventing loss of life, safeguarding livelihoods, and preventing future incidents from escalating. As business owners of the community that is the fish fry, we all care deeply about the safety and resilience of Arawak. This community is a cornerstone of our culture, tourism, and national identity. Strengthening our preparedness today protects our businesses and our people tomorrow. We We remain committed to doing our part and working alongside the wider community to support a safer and more resilient Arawak Key. Our hearts are with the vendors, employees, and patrons affected by the fire. May you rebuild stronger and better than before. We stand with you during this difficult time, willing to assist however we can. All right. So that statement from Joe's Seafood Restaurant and Lounge, and they hint at it, the need for improved emergency resources on the island. And that is one thing that was being said by people at the scene, that it seemed that fire services ran out of water. And that this might not have gotten so bad had that not happened. Let's talk to you. What's your reaction to all this? Is more on we'll get to this, on what the association is saying about, let's get through this now, the lack of insurance for a lot of these businesses. The businesses at Arawak Key are not insured, according to Russell. We mentioned his name before. Adding that some vendors sought indemnity a few years ago but were rejected, saying, quote, "We do not have any property on the fish fry insured. Why? Some years ago, we tried to insure places in Arawak Key to have general insurance. All insurance companies told us that we cannot insure your buildings for two reasons. We're too close together, and they're made of wood." Well, wow, okay. Very sad. All right, let's get your reaction to it, folks. What happened yesterday? Very sad indeed. 323-6232. 325-4316. 325-4259. Call us toll free, 242-300-5720. You can tweet us, you can Facebook us, you can text us, 422-4796. Let's go to the phone lines. Good morning, caller. You're live on the air.
Hey, good morning, Dwight. Welcome back.
Thank you. Good morning.
Yeah, Dwight, it's such a tragic scenery yesterday, man, And then what is more even tragic, Dwight, is the fact that, these people, them can't get insurance, right? That is even more tragic, man. Because all that money they are making on that location, but they can't be insured, and then you housing people, you putting people there. People visiting there. Such a tragic event. God forbid there could be no type of claim from nobody if they injured on those properties, right? Because there's no insurance. But the association even need to look at having their own, possibly getting their own fire station to be stationed inside that location. Because hey,
their own what?
Dwight, yeah, because hey, it's tragic, man, Dwight. Those people don't put a lot of investment inside those properties, and they just sitting ducks, and even the patrons are also sitting ducks in those businesses, man. Have a nice day, Dwight.
Okay, all right. I hope that's not where we are. You have to take it in your own hands now. Yikes. But I do get what you're saying. Continue to call in 323-6232. 325-4316. 325-4259. We've got a lot of your text messages, 422-4796. We'll get to those in a bit. Let's take another call. Good morning, caller. You're live on the air.
Hi, morning, Dwight. How are you?
Doing well. Good morning.
Yeah, man. Willoughby, I saw this coming, We have to put safety mechanisms in place, even if they got to put firewalls between those buildings. I saw this. I was just thinking about this even before the day of the fire was down by Porterski. I said, these buildings are too close. We need to have some sort of safety procedures and methods of building these buildings. So if there's a fire, it won't catch to the other buildings. But what is the association doing? What is whoever's responsible, the minister? Why can't they see these safety stuff? I work at Bahamas here, and we deal with safety issues all the time. And we see it, right? But why people in position are not doing their job? These things could be prevented. Fire hydrants, whatever, need to be checked and to make sure that they're in a working environment. One more thing, Dwight, I was supposed to call you back last week. The area on Horseshoe Drive, where you all have that fence, there was an incident before you came. There was an incident where a lady passed out and the car went over like a James Bond thing and ended in your parking lot. I'm asking your company to put a protective wall there instead of a fence. I saw the fence tear down again. And God forbid that a car may, say, make a left turn and they'll end up on somebody. So that's another thing you all need to look at. Safety is very important. But in the Bahamas, I know we had Bahamas here, serious for safety. But boy, what I see around here, they can't be serious. Thank you.
Yeah, yeah, that's down because of a car that hit it, apparently. Yeah, it happens quite often. It's very scary. Yeah, interesting points. Maybe that's what the Prime Minister is talking about. I'm rethinking all of this in the way forward, and hopefully that can be addressed. Hopefully. Boy, 323-6232, 325-4316, 325-4259. Tweet us, Facebook us, text us, 422-4796. All right, some text messages. This person says, I hope they have insurance. Nope, you heard it. They don't have it. But I doubt that, seeing as it's becoming more difficult to get home insurance out here on Eastern Road. Really? Blame climate change and waterfront erosion. Well, as you heard, a slightly different situation for them, but it's going to be a challenge. This person says here, the minute the association head said the loss is estimated to be $2 billion. Did he say $2 billion? I don't think I read that. But it's definitely probably in the millions. But I smiled. How did he get to that figure? We could play. This is a serious but tragic situation. Okay. Wondering why government parties have to wait for a disaster to happen or pending election before they want to redevelop essential sites in the Bahamas. Okay. We don't have to make it political. But you definitely would have a problem if you just, in the middle of any time of the year, say you're going to stop business so you could redevelop it to make it better. That would be a challenge too, right? So it's a very complex situation. That was going to result in lots of protesting and carrying on, I'm sure. So, unfortunately, these are the times when you have to really look at these things. This texture says here, there is no way the firefighters responded in 5 minutes. Yikes, because there was a video I saw, the first live video online, and it was about 20 to 30 minutes before a single fire truck arrived. Boy. And what's up with the building codes at Arawak Key? Do the buildings have to be touching each other? Well, you said it. Building codes, I don't know if they really meet the regular building codes. I don't think so. This person says it in the same text. Didn't the firefighters run out of water during the fire that occurred in May on the eastern end of Bay Street near Elizabeth Avenue in downtown Nassau? That's what people on the scene said. I don't think the firefighters ever acknowledged that really, but that's what everybody out there said. It seemed that way. This text says, like the caller indicated, firewalls and sprinklers desperately needed. Yeah. Yeah, he said 2 million. I don't know where that person got 2 billion from. Right, he didn't say billion. Continue to call in, folks. 300-5720 if you're calling from the Family Islands. But 323-6232, 325-4316. 325-4259. Goldies, this is a big loss, though. I mean, this is one of the first ones I remember out there. And have you been there recently? They have expanded. It was unbelievable. They're like a mile into the water. It is just a complex out there, but it was wonderful. It was beautiful. Real sad. Hopefully they will be able to build back bigger than ever. All right. So the politicians all showed up, though, yesterday. The Prime Minister's out there and other elected officials and hopefuls as well. I believe this is the Fort Charlotte area. So the candidates were out there, including PLP candidate for Fort Charlotte, Sebastian, at the scene, saying the fire was a tragedy, but acknowledged that it created an opportunity to rebuild the area with better infrastructure, upgraded bathrooms, and proper sanitation, saying, quote, I've just spoken to the Prime Minister. He will make an announcement as to where we go from here. We see the problem. He and I just discussed a potential solution, so he's going to speak to what it is, what that is. That's Sebastian. The F&M's candidate for Fort Charlotte, Travis Robinson, also out there, saying, quote, he said, it was a somber moment for the constituency and the whole island, saying that his team will work with affected business owners to see what assistance they can offer. Very interesting indeed. Let's take another call. Good morning, call. You're on the air.
Morning, cousin Dwight, and welcome back.
Thank you very much. Good morning.
Yeah, Grammy boy here. Boy, what a tragedy, what a mess. I can start off first with the fire engines. Ain't making no sense crying and debating and trying to do damage control. Somebody here need a road. Somebody here need a road because...
You're not buying their story that they were there within 5 minutes? Or
no.
they said they responded. I don't know what
the 5
responded
minutes ain't bad.
Mm-hmm.
That part ain't bad. It's the running out of water. You see, because hydrants should be, we said it before, the first time, they need to start sinking hydrants. That is how fire engines really work. They hook into the hydrants, and the hydrant is hooked into the main water system so that you can always have pressure. Somebody here need to rule right. Now, the insurance companies are ridiculous. They're ridiculous because it seems like there was some type of apartheid in this insurance industry whereby if you go and you got something extra or you ask them for hurricane damage and flood damage, they tell you, no, we don't do that. But they'll take your money for anything else. What is too close? And even although those buildings are concrete and they close downtown, some of them tie onto one another. That's nonsense. If Goldie's stem was too close, my boy Goldie, hey Goldie, just stop her. If the buildings are too close and they make out of wood, charge them a higher premium. That's all, because the insurance company pay. That nonsense needs to stop in this country too.
Well, I mean, you think they're going to pay if it's much higher? It's going to be a challenge.
Right. We got some stuff in this country that we pay higher premiums for. We do it. Payments or companies do it. All you got to do is say, well, Goldie, I can't charge you $5. I got to charge you $15. That's all they got to say. But that shouldn't be no reason for non-insurance businesses of that nature, because like one of the earlier callers said, that you got tourists, you got Bahamians, you got people sitting in those restaurants. Suppose something more that happened, Dwight.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I was covered the same thing with the boats in Exuma. Everybody run to shut them down, or you ain't got no insurance. It's the same thing with out there. Thanks for taking Grammy Boy call.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Wow. Well, as the Prime Minister said, this is the time now to get the insurance companies at the table so you can include them in the redesign of the area. And see how this works. As people have mentioned, you can have sprinkler systems and all kinds of things included right now, the bathrooms, all of that stuff in the redesign of at least this western side. Again, back to the water issue, it's really quite amazing. These two massive fires that we've had in the last few months, all near the waterfront. And seemingly the claims again that they've run out of water, which is just very, very, very odd and disturbing. But boy. Okay, DeAndre Cartwright, good morning. Great to have you with us.
Good morning, Dwight Strachan. Happy to be here.
All right. Keep calling, folks. 323-6232, 325-4316, 325-4259. Call us toll free 242-300-5720. In a bit, we'll get to some of the other big stories of the day, including that barge off Abaco, finally removed from the reef, and the odd, wacky, wild behavior involved in all of this. We'll get to that. And what Fred Mitchell's saying about these passport claims, all of that on this Monday morning. But we continue to talk about this terrible, tragic fire at the fish fry at Arawak Key. Got another call. Let's take this one. Good morning, caller. You're on the air.
Well, good morning, Dwight. Good morning, DeAndre.
Morning.
Good morning.
Yeah, Dwight, this may be a rhetorical question, but do the fire services do maintenance of these fire hydrants stuff? Like drill and stuff in the event of something of this magnitude happen?
It's a good question. I'm sure they will say they do. But
yeah,
it's a very good question.
It, but we don't really see it enough. I mean, you have developed countries who are prone to certain things. You could always see them doing mock drills, these type of things, preparing them in the event that something of this magnitude happens. And again, I want to offer some encouragement to those persons who would have been affected, by the fish fry. And maybe this is a need for insurance companies. Because, I mean, it's just ridiculous, Dwight. I mean, in the U.S., you can insure almost anything you want to. But the insurance company, when they feel as if that they might end up paying some claims, they tell you they can't do this, they can't do that. When you submit a claim, you can't get proper resolve on it because they're trying to chew you down to almost zero. And these are the type of conversations that just should be ongoing to improve the Bahamas. You shouldn't wait until something happens. Now you want to pull the insurance companies to the table. Come on, man. I mean, we have Heyman's talk about these things, I mean, for decades about how the insurance companies behave. But only when it's a catastrophe, we now got to sit to the table and meet. I mean, we got to take some proactive approach to correct this thing. If you're talking about a country, that's talking about no clapboard house we're building. If you're talking about a country, now what is going to happen? The western side of the fish fry is going to be improved, perhaps state of the art. And when you look at the other sections of it, it's going to remain the same. That's what's going to happen.
Well, at some point they're going to have to close them down and build into the same standard as the western side. Hopefully, will be.
We're doing things. So much things so ad hoc, man. One little small area you can't put in the basic infrastructure. It's just unbelievable what these fellas will be doing in their downtime because they have a lot of free time on their hands.
Well, let's be fair, though. I mean, the fish fry grew up, they were basically like stalls and have grown into giant complexes now, right?
But everything,
it got out of hand, probably.
Yeah, but Dwight.
But I agree with you. Along the way, this should have been thought of and
I agree,
included.
but then, Dwight, listen, all of the activities pertaining to the fish fry start and stop in the Prime Minister's office. All those illegal so-called leasing of stalls and sending them all over the place, everything stops at the Prime Minister's office. But for whatever reason, they neglect it and they just don't pay attention to what's really happening. But they created this situation. Hopefully, we get some resolve.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much. Oh, boy. Well, I don't know. But anyway, some text messages. The person says here, why, as an insurance company, would you insure those buildings that are not built properly? It's a loss waiting to happen, and insurance companies are in business to make money. Yeah. They go on to say the government is responsible for securing the road and expansion with no regulation. And they're saying we watched the video and saw when the fire trucks arrived. It was long after the video went live. The reporter was right there, and there was many, many minutes, more than 5. I don't know if 5 minutes responding means that you took a call within 5 minutes. I don't know if that's what they mean by responded. But they didn't get there in 5 minutes. But anyway.
Or perhaps it means that, a good way, did we hear about response?
They say they responded in 5 minutes.
Right. But the actual process of response, like how long does it take to mobilize the fire trucks, the officers, things like that too? I wouldn't imagine you have officers just standing at the ready at the firehouse because
that's how it's supposed to be.
I would think so. But again, Dwight, we had this conversation months ago with the wildfires happening too, right? Our firefighters are police officers.
When we said that last time, they said, nope, that's not fair. It may be a part of the police force, but these are trained trained firefighters. To dismiss them as being police officers is unfair.
Not dismissing them to say that they're just police officers. I'm just saying that they are department or their entity.
No, I don't think they work for any other department.
Sorry?
I don't think they work when you are with the fire branch. You're with the fire branch.
Right.
It's not like,
so their entity, I'm just saying, needs more persons.
I'm sure the police force will say that too.
Right. The last time, again, through the wildfire, we learned a lot about the fire department entity branch. And they had deployed, I think, some of them to Abaco and some other islands that were having some challenges. So when the last set broke out in the West, they didn't have enough resources on hand. So I go back to, what is the process? Are we knowledgeable enough as the public to downplay the 5-minute response time? What entails getting them ready? I'm just trying to be fair here too.
Well, all the people know is that no fire truck was there within 5 minutes. So they might have responded and started to mobilize in 5 minutes.
See, this is
but
what I'm saying.
They certainly
like
weren't there in 5 minutes.
If we say it takes 5 minutes, what does that 5 minutes take, right? That could be 5 minutes to get everything prepared before they move out. You know what I'm saying?
It wouldn't even take me 5 minutes to get from the studio to across the street. But anyway, but I don't know what it means. It would be good to know. It would be good to know. But
see, opportunities to help educate, you know?
Yeah. Will they take it? Let's take some more calls before we have to take a break. Good morning, caller. You're on the air.
Yes, good morning, Mr. Strong. Good morning, D'Angelo.
Hi.
Yeah, Dwight, the producer, the young lady, every time I call and she answers, I always smile. I don't know. She has a real radio voice. I'll be sad if she doesn't get on the air. It's just, she's so harmonious, you know. But I wanted to share this, you know.
Trust me, she does not want to be on the air.
Yeah, but she has a radio voice, Dwight.
Okay.
Maybe she's really lovely. But listen to me, the thing is, Dwight, and D'Angelo, how about we mobilize our minds, right? I heard a lot of people, let me turn on the right. I heard a lot of people calling and talking about the insurance companies. Insurance companies are allowed to get rid of a lot of stuff. Quick scenario, I already paid up on a term life insurance, and so I wanted to cash it in, and so they said that you wouldn't get the full amount. So I don't know why they're allowed to get rid of that. I'm just saying that. But the thing is, so you're trying to tell me that wooden buildings cannot be painted with fire retardants? Well, bitch, and I know they can. So, I mean, you just mentioned sprinkler system. What about fire retardants? I worked in construction industry. I didn't always do destruction. So I know that you would paint the floors up in the high-rises in Life Again, wherever every time the floor changes, you would paint the fire retardants around the framework so it wouldn't spread, et cetera, et cetera. These are the simple things that you can do. But the status quo and the capitalists would always be protected and do what they want. So even as it relates to, but I hear nobody's, I hope that people will be satisfied with the reason what caused the fire. I'm interested in that. And also the fact that they were using salt water in the fire engines. Now, I worked around in Voices Moses. I know the dangers of salt water. I've seen water up to 70,000 TDS. All right? I've seen it, and I know what it does. And people ride through with their cars when it was in the parking lot in the hotel area because they didn't know what it was. But it actually has twice the amount of salt as seawater. Seawater is about 35 TDS. I did it. I know. I'm not guessing this. I'm telling you what it is. And so the fact that they say they will flush the equipment, using salt water is actually like sabotaging the fire engine. So I don't know how much they would flush it or what they would do. But these are the type of things that are sickening for me. You know what I mean, Mr. Strong? Really and truly. And as it relates to the reason you started to say you'll be talking about this the container
the barge,
the ship running aground in Albuquerque,
in a little bit, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but I hope you would realize that it's not a propaganda program, a scam going on in America. Did you listen to the news? Did you hear the footage? You heard they said that pirates attacked and commandeered the ship. You didn't hear that? I didn't hear any response from the PM, the National Security Minister. Right,
there is a response. We'll get to that.
It might be AI. You sure it wouldn't be AI?
Okay, well, there is a response, and we'll get to it all in just a bit. So we're going to get into it. Okay, let's take another call. Good morning, caller. You're on the air. Turn on your radio for us, please. Hi, good morning. I hear myself. Are you there? Oh, boy. All right, let's take the other call. Good morning. You're on the air live. Hi, good morning.
Hi, good morning. How are you?
Doing well.
Good. I'm a first-time caller to your show, but I listen to you all the time, right?
Welcome.
But this topic touched me because I'm in the fire business, all right? I install a fire sprinkler suppression system. And Dwight, you'll be surprised to know the amount of buildings around here, especially on the government side, that has a fire system that is not working.
Would I be surprised? I would not be surprised.
And the amount of money we have spent in these buildings to now, if something was to happen, to watch them go up in flames.
I would believe it.
It's ridiculous, you know. And if I tell you, you know, you have the straw market sitting right there after that fire, what they had. Do you know the fire pump is not working in that building over 7 years now?
Oh, wow. Explain that to us. Fire pump. What does that mean?
Okay, you have the system. You have a fire pump that if something was to happen, the fire pump would come on. If the sprinkler goes off, the fire pump would come on and push water through the sprinkler air.
Okay.
You have the jockey pump that is a booster pump that if it would keep the water going so that the fire pump does not have to come on. Okay?
Wow.
But the main fire pump in the shore market is not working. And government put people in these buildings and putting people's lives at risk with no safety.
Okay, so how do you know this? How do you know this? Do you do inspections or how would...
Yes, I do inspection.
Uh-huh.
All right? We were supposed to replace the pump 7 years ago, and the pump's sitting right there. Even right down to the new building they did on Burnett Road, the court building what they did on Burnett Road, the fire suppression system is not in that building. It's in, but the pump is not hooked up. There's no water in the system.
What's the reason? I mean, why not?
Dwight, government, the pump is not installed. It's here, but it's not installed.
Have they given you an excuse?
Investigation and find out. Even right down to the new baseball stadium.
Will it cost money to install it, or what's the issue?
Apparently, the pump was purchased, but payment to clear it and all that did not happen. Like I say, I do inspection, and the only company that I know takes this serious I work for. They do every 3 months they do a service on their pump. They run it through the generator to make sure that everything is working.
All right, so these are serious claims. We'll have to investigate that. But what's your assessment of what happened yesterday?
Well, that basically when I see things like this, I know it's a disaster waiting to happen because the buildings are too close together, right? And we build buildings and a lot of buildings we do not put fire suppression in the building. We do not. If they had some kind of fire suppression, that would not have happened, right? Even I hear people saying that fire hydrant should be put close. Even if you put a fire hose cabinet, right, that anybody would be able to operate. Just pull it out, turn it on, and you'll be able to suppress the fire so it wouldn't spread as much as that. But, we build buildings, and we do not put no fire suppression system in the building.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
But do your investigation. You can check these buildings.
Very
they install, and some people reinstall the pump. Then we don't do no service on the system. Come to find out, the pump isn't working.
Mm-hmm. Boy, wow, a lot to think about. Thank you so much for the call. Really appreciate you calling today.
All right, thank you.
Wow.
Now I have some more questions.
You gotta be very careful where you go.
Yeah. Well, I'm wondering if an insurance professional can also give us a call. Can buildings be insured on an annual basis without having these suppression systems? Like, what are the qualifications? That's some serious claims from the caller just now.
Plenty places, more places than you think are probably not insured. But that's also scary, right? One more call. Good morning, caller. You're on the air.
Hi, Dwight.
Hi, good morning.
Good morning. Have you been to Puerto Rico before?
I have, yes.
Good. Have you visited Eatery?
I don't think so.
Okay. Well, I've been there, and the Eatery is out of the town. You have to catch your bus to go there.
Is it like the fish fry?
And they have a big building. It's a build like a cycle, like a circumference.
Mm-hmm.
And when you go inside, this chef got this food, the next chef, and you can walk from table to table, and you can order what you want to order. I say all of that to say this, that the Prime Minister said he's going to step in, and I hope he builds something like that, because that is tourist attraction in Puerto Rico. And another, and you got three. I saw 4 attractions. You got the rainforest, you got the eatery, you have downtown Puerto Rico. They the smallest road I see in Puerto Rico, and them big bus running up and down through them little truck road, man. Hey, they are the best drivers I've came across. Big bus and them little road so narrow, man.
Yeah. Wow. Okay.
And the last one is the Bacardi factory. Gotta catch a ferry from there to go across. And when you get across, you got taxi waiting to take you to the Bacardi. Thanks, Dwight.
Okay. Thank you very much. Appreciate the call. I mean, I think people like the concept that the fish fry has become, expanding from the stalls to these little businesses, but definitely a modernization is desperately required, right? For as Barman mentioned, for sanitation purposes and for safety purposes now.
Safety, I think.
Right, all of this, because most of the buildings you have to leave to go to the restroom across the square, right? Some of them now have their own bathrooms, but not all. And so that's an issue. That's a big issue, and you have to be concerned about the food handlers too. What are they doing? Right?
That's a concern. There.
Plenty of concerns. So this is the time. It's interesting.
It's an opportunity.
A big opportunity. Some big names are talking though. Some big money names. If they're saying that, they're mentioning this, maybe it'll become.
Again, opportunities for investments, improvements, things like that.
This might make. What's the place in Paradise Island called?
Sorry?
What's the place in Paradise Island called?
Which one?
The market.
Marina Village.
Marina Village might give Marina Village a run for the money. With these high rollers involved.
Yeah,
in it. Who knows?
No. I gotta cut that.
You don't want it. What, you don't want it to look like that?
It's not necessarily about the aesthetics of it, right? But it's just the reality about what the potential rent or whatnot would look like.
Oh, okay.
No, I noticed that, but also certain people are in the business of making money no matter how nice they may appear. I'm so sorry to say it, but it is what it is. You could imagine
gentrifying the fish fry.
Yeah, okay, so you understand. No, man. The thing is that, so you could, Dwight, why are you doing this to me?
I'm just saying,
this to me?
There's some big people talking.
But we can clearly see the difference between fish fry and Marina Village. I personally would not want to see fish fry redesigned like Marina Village. Now, again,
you want safety?
I know. I want.
You want sanitation?
No. I want those things.
Okay.
I want those things, but still with the down home feeling. Marina Village does not feel down home at all.
Okay.
You can be safe. You can be sanitary. You can spread the buildings out so that you meet requirements. Because it sounds like they were going against whichever codes or whatnot. But at the same time, it's like.
Gotta dream big. Gotta dream big.
Y'all, you see what I have to go through on Monday
mornings?
Look, why is
pay attention to the
antagonizing
names. Pay attention to the names.
I am
talking.
You know what? Let me sip my coffee. We're going to break.
Helipad. And jet service. We gotta go to the news. We'll pick this up on the other side. This is Morning Blend on Guardian Radio.
This is Guardian Radio 96.9 FM. Streaming on GuardianTalkRadio.com and the Guardian Radio app, Nassau, Bahamas.
Welcome back to Morning Blend on Guardian Radio 96.9. We are streaming live on GuardianTalkRadio.com and on the Guardian Radio app for smart devices. We're also on your televisions on Cable Bahamas, Channel 969, and BTC Flow Channel 612. You can tweet us at morningblend969 or facebook.com/morningblend969. Text us 422-4796. Standard text rates apply. And now at 8:23, it is time for another check of your weather for today, brought to you by Sherwin-Williams Paints. So here's what's happening. We've got high pressure that continues to dominate weather across the country. Stable and dry conditions with light winds will continue today. That dry air mass is going to keep rainfall chances to a minimum, and that's going to mean plenty of sunshine across the islands, with just a chance of a few sprinkles Tuesday as a frontal system approaches the northern islands. By midweek, a deep ridge of high pressure returns as a dominant weather feature, generating fresh to moderate breezes over the country. So for today, we're looking at mostly sunny conditions, turning fair at night. Only about a 10% chance of showers. Look for high temperatures in the low 80s, around 82 Fahrenheit, 28 Celsius. In the upper 60s, mid to upper 60s for the northern and northwest Bahamas, around 18, 19 Celsius. The low 70s for the central and southeast Bahamas, about 21, 22 Celsius. In your extended outlook for tomorrow, Tuesday, a mix of sun and clouds, only about a 10 to 20% chance of showers. It's going to hold for Wednesday through Thursday and Friday. By Saturday, partly cloudy to cloudy for the northern and northwest Bahamas, a mix of sun and clouds for the central and southeast Bahamas, and that's going to hold again for Sunday as well. The tropics are quiet, tropical cyclone formation not expected during the next 7 days. That's your morning blend weather check, brought to you by Sherwin-Williams. If you're looking to paint, your local Sherwin-Williams store has top quality paints, expert advice, and everyday discounts to help you save only at Sherwin-Williams. And it's time for a check of traffic, brought to you by RBC. In your real-time traffic, we've got a number of hot spots for you. You've got Milo Butler Highway, heavy traffic from well south of the Fire Trail roundabout, straight through the roundabout up to Tonic Williams Darling Highway if you're heading northbound. Traffic back to belong Tonic Williams Darling Highway westbound as well. And even eastbound near Bahamas Games Boulevard, you can be seeing that slow-moving traffic for you on Tonic Williams Darling Highway. Your alternate routes to Milo Butler Highway are looking busy as well. Gladstone Road, especially once you get north of Munnings Road, slow-moving traffic there if you're heading northbound. And Blue Hill Road looking especially busy this morning near St. Vincent Road, but especially north of Carmichael, straight through to the roundabout with Independence Drive. Independence Drive seeing some heavy traffic westbound between the roundabouts at East Street and Blue Hill Road. And East Street also heavy traffic for you northbound, north and south of the Soldier Road intersection. Back to Blue Hill Road, it's going to be busy for you once you get north of that Independence Drive roundabout, straight to Cordo Avenue once you get north of Robinson. Heavy, slow-moving northbound traffic for you this morning. And we've got along Prince Charles Drive, heavy traffic at the major intersections like Fox Hill Road and Beatrice Avenue, and straight through to Robinson, west of Soldier Road, up to Old Trail. Soldier Road seeing some heavy traffic on the way to Bernard, Wolf, and Village Roads, that intersection there, northbound. And that'll continue for you on Village Road northbound. Slow-moving traffic on Eastern Road, just east and west of Fox Hill Road if you're heading westbound this morning. Those are your hot spots. That's your real-time traffic and your Morning Blend traffic alert. Also brought to you by NUA Insurance Agents and Brokers. Whether you're on the road or planning your next move, they've got you covered. Visit NUAinsurance.com for an instant motor quote or stop by your nearest branch today.
Here's the Sure-winning art store moment from Shelley and Dee Dee.
We're the only full art store in the Bahamas. If we don't have it, we make a list, and trust me, our boss can get that. If you need that, he can get that. You can find sketchbooks, acrylics, the canvases in all sizes, stencils. We have the Angelus that they use on shoes and letters. We're the only persons in Nassau that carries the Montana spray. We have the Krylon sprays, watercolor and paints, the oil, chalk paints, the alcohol paint, metallic paints, the little Floetrol, and we have cleaning products for the artists, thinning products for the artists, and Crayola colors, and glitters, pencils, the Posca markers, and pastels, oil, and the acrylic pastels, dyes. We also have airbrush paint. I didn't forget that part of the movie. Gift sets, hobby craft,
Oil shrimp,
clays.
stew shrimp, shrimp gumbo. But art supplies. We have a lot of them. Sherwin-Williams Art Store. Find colour in every day.
Mom, the Christmas cookies are ready. We leave them right here under the tree for...
For Santa or for CIBC Caribbean? 'Tis the season for dreams to come true. Whether it's a house, land, vehicle, or upgrading your home, CIBC Caribbean can support your dreams with the financing you need. Enjoy incredible cashback deals with mortgages and land loans. Plus, your approved loan gives you a chance to win up to US $5,000. Apply now at www.cibccaribbean.com/sweeten the season. Terms and conditions apply.
No one likes a fender bender.
Oh, man.
From a little scratch to a full mashup, NUA Insurance has got you covered with auto insurance tailored to fit your needs and budget. For affordable rates with free on-site accident assistance, visit us online or in branch and just ask us. NUA Insurance. Ask us because we've got you covered.
How do we say thank you to our valuable customers? By celebrating Thanksgiving all month long. Buy more and save more with up to 15% off your favorite fragrances and cosmetics. This November, come shop with us and save at any of our 5 convenient locations. Be in Parliament, Be in East, Palmdale, Marathon Mall, or Old Fort Town Center. Happy Thanksgiving from your friends at the Perfume Bar.
Get ready for Rewind Music Festival.
Music.
Saturday, November 22nd at the Amphitheater, Nassau Cruise Pool. Hosted by Fresh International and Lancelot. Featuring an all-star DJ lineup. Tico T, DJ Fine, Slow Giant, Pusha Jr., OVO Moore, Black Cheney, and more. Bringing the heat. Reggae to soca. Hip-hop, dancehall, and everything in between. Gates open 7 p.m. General admission 30, 45 at the door. Don't miss Rewind Music Festival. Saturday, November 22nd at the Amphitheater. Your place to be for vibes.
Unwrap the gift of style with Nassau Tile's holiday warm-up event from November 17th to 29th. Now is the time to beat the holiday rush with savings so hot you'll feel the cheer. Save 20% off store-wide on all tile, setting materials, backsplashes, mosaics, trims, and more. Gobble up even more savings on selected net items. Shop the holiday warm-up event at Nassau Tile for a feast of savings. Visit our showroom on Doddswell Street or call 322-2100 to check off your holiday style wish list today.
Mommy, are you writing to Santa too?
You have Santa. I have CIBC Caribbean. CIBC has sweetened the season so you can bring your holiday dreams to life and wrap a new home or land with incredible cashback deals. Plus, your approved loan gives you a chance to win up to US $5,000. Apply now at www.cibccaribbean.com/sweeten the season. Terms and conditions apply.
This is Guardian Radio 96.9 FM. Fresh news, smart talk, all day.
Yo ho, a pirate's life for me. We pillage, we plunder, we rifle and loot. Drink up, me hearties, yo ho. We kidnap and ravage and don't give a hoot. Drink up, me hearties, yo ho. Yo ho, a pirate's life for me. We extort, we pilfer, we filch and sack. Drink up, me hearties, yo ho. Maraud and embezzle and even hijack. Drink up, me hearties, yo ho. Yo ho, a pirate's life for me. Rekindle and char, inflame and ignite. Drink up, be hearty, show.
We are back with Morning Blend on Guardian Radio 96.9. Dwight Strachan along with DeAndre Cartwright on this morning. Why are you looking at me like that?
A Pirate's Life for me, Dwight.
Well, I can't think of a more appropriate song to play. But apparently some people don't like the word pirate. Well, if you don't like the word pirate, don't be a pirate.
Oh yes, indeed. Let's look this up again.
You're going to look up the definition of
Yeah,
pirate?
I will.
Okay.
Because then it's a definition of pirates, and then a definition of pirating.
And piracy.
And
And
see,
do all
there we
that.
go.
Yeah. All right. So while you do that, we got a whole lot of your text messages about the fish fry. We'll get back to that in a bit. But let's you found it. You found your the definitions.
The top one. I feel like I want to go to the Merriam-Webster or the Cambridge or whatnot.
Read them all.
Read them all. Okay, so the first one that comes up, this is from the American Heritage Dictionary of the English Language, 5th edition. A pirate, one who commits or practices piracy at sea. 2, one who makes use or reproduces the work of another without authorization. 3, one who illegally intercepts or uses radio or television signals. So practices piracy at sea, that's the number one hit. That's 1. Merriam-Webster. 1, to commit piracy on. 2, to appropriate. 3, to lure away. Okay, we learn in different definitions. The number one is always piracy at sea. Even Cambridge says the same thing. A person who sails in a ship and attacks other ships in order to steal from them. So is it that, oh, here we go. I like this one. Dictionary.com. A person who robs, that's dramatic emphasis, or commits illegal violence at sea on the shores of the sea.
Doesn't have to be violence.
Sorry?
Doesn't have to be.
No, it says or. So a person who robs.
Yeah.
Robs.
Interesting. Okay. So we're playing that music. We're reading the definitions because of what happened last week.
Right.
Just a disaster. Just a shameful act here. All around, because this boat didn't need to be in this area either. But here's the very latest on this. That barge, the Brooklyn Bridge barge, which ran aground on a reef off Abaco, has been refloated and removed, according to the Ministry of Energy and Transport. In a statement on Saturday. Our Rachel Scott writing about this. So the ministry noted that a preliminary environmental assessment will be carried out and to determine any potential environmental impact. So the ministry said that should damages be identified, legal penalties will be imposed on the barge in accordance with established regulations. On Friday, Director of Communications in the Office of the Prime Minister, Latrey Ramming, said the owners of the barge would face a hefty fine for an environmental breach. He said, quote, the vessel in question is already in an environmental breach with impending fines. Once the vessel has been removed, there will be a further environmental assessment on the impact of the damage on the coral reef or the ecosystem, and pending that assessment, that will determine the fine levied against the company or the parties responsible. The Port Department said arrangements were underway to tow the barge to Jacksonville, Florida, where it will undergo a thorough inspection and inventory review. The Port Department said, quote, additionally, a specialized team will soon return to the site to conduct a comprehensive sweep of the seabed and recover any cargo that may have been lost overboard. Okay. Trailer Bridge, the company that owns the barge, said that divers inspected the vessel and determined that there was no damage and that it was approved to sail. The barge, which was loaded with shipping containers, wrecked on the reef last week and was soon after raided by looters who hauled away boatloads of goods. CEO of Trailer Bridge, Mitch Luciano, thanked the U.S. Coast Guard and the U.S. Navy and others who took action to, quote, help ensure our safety and establish a presence of Bahamian police to secure the barge and what was left of the cargo. Oh, my. The company said that the barge was destined for Puerto Rico when it encountered severe winds on November 11th that resulted in a tow wire failure, which led to its grounding. It noted that the barge, which is one of 3 Jones Act carriers that deliver weekly shipments to the island, is a critical lifeline for the people of Puerto Rico. My goodness. Saying, quote, our team continues to work around the clock to support its customers impacted by the service disruption while maintaining the service of our entire fleet of vessels. Wow. Okay. So there's a whole lot to talk about. There's a story that ran in Jacksonville on one of their news affiliates and got a lot of attention from Bahamians. And then there's a very interesting comments from Wayne Monroe in the Tribune today. We'll get to him in a bit. But take a listen to this report. Okay. I want you to hear this.
Is it a local report?
No, this is the Jacksonville station
Okay,
report.
here we go, guys.
So this rubbed some Bahamians the wrong way. But I'm saying if you are feeling itchy, Anyway, let's listen to this.
Pirates in the Caribbean. A local company says its ship was attacked by pirates over the last 2 days. And if you look closely, there's video of the pirates raiding the ship. And we have some new photos obtained by Action News Jax today showing Bahamian police aboard the barge right off the coast of the Bahamas. I'm Tanika Hughes.
And I'm Yana Gavino. The police originally told the company they wouldn't help because of possible violence. The ship was on its way from Jacksonville to Puerto Rico. Action News Jax Jake Stofan joins us live on the North Bank. Jake, you spoke with a maritime attorney who says this type of crime is extremely rare in the Caribbean.
Extremely rare and possibly extremely concerning given the importance of this particular shipping lane. As one source described it to me, this shipping route is essentially Puerto Rico's lifeline. And if it were to become too dangerous to traverse, that could have some serious consequences. Video obtained by Action News Jax shows several small vessels alongside the Brooklyn Bridge cargo barge about 3 miles off the coast of the Bahamas. The video, Action News Jax is told, was shot by the suspected robbers and looters and sent to the vessel's owner, Trailer Bridge, as proof of the ongoing incident.
Modern day piracy looks very different than it did back in the day. As you pointed out, they're smaller, faster boats.
The act of potential piracy is an incredibly rare sight, according to maritime attorney Adam Dietz. Photos obtained by Action News Jax show emptied out cargo containers once full of household supplies and food.
A large commercial ship being commandeered by local pirates in the Caribbean is very unusual.
Trailer Bridge tells Action News Jax the vessel was boarded Thursday after the tugboat pulling the barge experienced a tow wire failure that grounded the barge 2 days prior. The company contacted the U.S. Navy, Coast Guard, and local police, but Bahamian officials told the company they would not engage, quote, because they feared possible violence. It's unclear based on the photos and videos whether the suspected robbers and looters were armed, but Dietz says generally acts of piracy are not carried out with the intention of physically harming crew members.
It's based in money, not necessarily in violence for the sake of violence, but they do resolve badly sometimes.
Newly obtained photos show the vessel has been boarded by Bahamian police, and the smaller boats that once surrounded it are nowhere to be seen. Dietz says oftentimes piracy is a symptom of destabilization within a country, so he hopes this is a one-off occurrence and not the start of a larger trend. The shipping lane between Jacksport and the Bahamas is a critical lifeline to Puerto Rico, making the stakes incredibly high.
There are things that ships can do in the meantime to still use the area while they're figuring it out, but this is early. I guess we'll see.
Now, we did reach out to the U.S. Coast Guard asking whether it was involved in any response to this incident, and if so, what that response may have looked like. We're still waiting to hear back. For local coverage and Count On Live on the North Bank, I'm Jake Stofan, Action News Jax.
Okay, all right, so that's the story there they're running in Jacksonville. A lot of Bahamians hearing that, not happy with it, but someone's texting saying, yeah, they're looters, not pirates. Still bad and embarrassing, though, but it is piracy because you mentioned it, DeAndre, in your definition,
From
the at-sea thing, because it's on the water.
Right.
Yeah, that makes it... Read that one again, the one where it says at sea. Or
but before I get there, I actually want to, because the lawyer mentioned inside that story right there, looting, right? So the act of looting, the act of stealing during a general disturbance. So the disturbance in this case would have been the grounding of the barge, right? Oh, boy.
Yeah, we might not like the language, but that's what it is.
So going back to our definition of pirate, one who commits or practices piracy at sea.
At sea.
Right?
All right. So, and just
who
because
robs or commits illegal
it's
violence
robbing.
at sea. So
you're an opportunist. You think you're not a pirate. I mean, if a furniture truck broke down here on the street, do you have the right to open it up and take out all the stuff? Do you have the right to do it? Please, come on now. Anyway, so Wayne Monroe has some interesting things to say about this. He's the national security minister, as you know. The headline in the Tribune is, "There's no maritime law that can justify that kind of teething." Is that a quote? So the Tribune says, what began on Thursday as a jubilant rush to loot a grounded barge off Abaco became a criminal scandal over the weekend, with at least 2 people arrested, and National Security Minister Wayne Monroe denouncing the mass theft as criminal behavior that gave Abaco a black eye. Monroe telling the Tribune yesterday that the scale of the theft and the number of residents defending it made the ordeal especially disturbing. You better believe it. I am ashamed. He goes on to say, this is Monroe, quote, "There's no maritime law that justifies that kind of teething. What is more reprehensible is how widespread it was and how many Bahamians you see online seeking to defend the behavior which is clearly criminal and unacceptable. You're not salvaging goods because salvaging goods means that you collect them and take them to the owner. That's one of the 10 commandments, thou shalt not steal."
I disagree with the salvaging thing right there.
That's odd.
But then again, he's a learned person, so maybe he knows better. Salvaging.
But anyway, the looting began Thursday after the barge's tow line snapped in severe weather, grounding it on a reef near Nunjack Key. Residents converged in small craft before officers arrived, forcing open containers and carrying away appliances, electronics, medical supplies, oh dear, and other goods. And you know Puerto Rico is stressed already. Yeah. Very poor Puerto Rico. Anyway, the brazen theft even made international news, with organizations describing it as piracy rarely seen in modern times. Whoa. Trailer Bridge, the U.S.-based operator, said an estimated 90% of containers were compromised. 90%. How'd they get all the way on the top? The thing was stacked high.
Yeah.
Wow.
But my thing, those things are locked with chains.
Okay.
And locks. That means
when does that?
Y'all went on there and y'all cut the chains and whatnot. I'm just curious. Anyway, sorry, finish because I just please finish. I have comments.
CEO Mitch Luciano said yesterday, quote, "We made the difficult decision to return our barge back to Jacksonville and abort our original plan for delivering goods to Puerto Rico. The company insisted that claims residents were invited aboard to help or lighten the load were entirely false."
So they lightened. Sorry, please finish.
Yeah, they were going to make it so light that it could float above the reef. Yeah.
I mean, that's what it is. So they can bring the stuff back then. That's what it is. Did they carry the things back?
Monroe said the theft hurt the island's reputation.
The country's reputation, not just the island. I tired to tell y'all, one island. The rest of the world don't care about one island in our country. One island do something is all
You
the
heard
entire
them
country.
say off the coast of the Bahamas.
They say off the coast of Abaco.
Not in that Jacksonville report. Off the coast of the Bahamas. Like what? Okay. Anyway, it was a bad. This is Monroe. It was a bad showing for Abaco. It gave Abaco a black eye.
Give all of us a bad. Wait, sorry.
He's urging residents there to help police recover the stolen goods and identify the offenders. He said investigators will rely heavily on open source footage posted by offenders themselves.
That's what the report said. The report said the people using the footage that the pirates took themselves. Y'all as pirates and y'all give the people the evidence, y'all will be prosecuted.
In the words of the great movie Captain Phillips, they were all saying, "I'm the captain now."
Oh my God. Actually, anyway, sorry. I found something.
I'll continue. Yeah. They posted it themselves and noted that vessels carrying uncustomed goods can be seized under customs law. Wow. In its statement, the barge company claimed Bahamian police initially avoided confronting looters, as you heard in that report.
Because that's their friend. Sorry.
What? No, you better. Boy.
I stopped. I didn't say it.
Due to concerns of possible violence, saying the delay created.
So they were scared.
You said the people had chain and bolt colors. You know what they're going to do with that? That hurts flesh. You know that hurts.
So
saying that
maybe
the delay.
Have muskets. Who knows? The police didn't want to confront them.
make them walk the
But
plank.
y'all ever
Walk
seen
the
how
plank.
police officers is be on the family islands and
don't
whatnot?
know
Like
what you're
I have. I find this very hilarious.
not
You
funny.
know
Not
the
funny at
people is
all.
on the boat, bro. You know them. So you saying your boys them was gonna rape you?
No one said that. Let's continue. They said that the delay, because of this concern of possible violence, the delay created a dangerous situation that could have easily resulted in injury or worse.
I need a report from the Royal Bahamas Police Force, please. We need a report.
Now, Monroe says authorities mobilized once it became clear that the Brooklyn Bridge barge had been left unsecured by its owners. Defense force and police units, including a 30-meter patrol craft and a quick reaction team, were diverted to the scene, ultimately arresting 2 men found on the vessel. Wow.
Wow, only 2? Because I saw a couple inside them boats.
They were on the boats. That's different.
Oh, that's the only one who was
Right.
on the boat. So if
There's
I was in the
2
water,
on
they
the
was throwing it
vessel.
over to the little boat then. That's what it is. Okay.
You're making lots of
Sorry.
assumptions. How did they get it down?
Yeah,
They threw it in the
please
water.
continue, Dwight, please.
He likened the situation to abandoning a shopping mall without security and said the government redirected limited patrol assets, usually assigned to anti-poaching and migrant interdiction duties, to secure private property after it was left vulnerable. He rebuked the barge's owners, saying, quote, "The owners of this thing are ungrateful." Whoa.
Hold on, wait now. Strong language there. Strong language there. Hold on, wait
Getting
now.
hot in the studio. Oh,
I
boy.
keep coming yet. No, you're still reading.
No,
Okay.
it's still reading. Okay, wow. The owners of this thing are ungrateful. That's Wayne Monroe. Saying, quote, "To basically redirect one vessel to secure personal property that the owner could have put security guards on is something that the state did at great expense in terms of manpower. That comes at a cost." He said the owner's response was, quote, "really annoying and discouraging." Oh, boy. Saying, quote, "You have to muster a crew. You have to put hundreds of gallons of diesel into the vessel. For the owner not to appreciate it and to suggest that we are supposed to have people standing by to secure personal property, which is not the primary duty of the police or the defense force." Wow. Police Superintendent Stephen Roll, the Northern Division's press officer, confirmed 2 arrests and urged residents to immediately return any stolen goods. He warned that anyone found with items from the vessel will face prosecution, saying, quote, "Once you turn those other items in, they will take it from there." The U.S. Embassy, meanwhile, condemned the incident and said the U.S. Coast Guard supported patrol flights and security efforts. Government officials say the barge could face environmental penalties once reef damage is assessed after its removal. Okay. All right. Wow. Interesting stuff.
So before I start with my observations, right?
Can I read this one statement before you go?
Yes.
Yeah. So this is from Latrey Ramming. He posted this yesterday. He said, "In my capacity as Director of Communications in the Office of the Prime Minister, I contacted Action News Jax out of Jacksonville regarding their recent report on the barge incident off Abaco. The claim of pirates is inaccurate. Our law enforcement agencies responded and are pursuing those responsible for any looting. We have asked that the story be corrected to reflect the facts. The government of the Bahamas will protect our international reputation as a safe and secure maritime environment." Okay. Okay. Yes, you can have your say. And folks, you can as well. Give us a call, 323-6232, 325-4316, 325-4259. Call us toll free, 242-300-5720. Tweet us, Facebook us, text us, 422-4796. Before you go on, I just think there's a lot of blame. There's a lot of blame that could go around to everybody. The owners of this vessel.
Lots of blame going over.
The looters, whether you want to call them pirates or not. And maybe the response of the law enforcement, although Wayne Monroe says they
My
acted
boy said
in
they
due
were
time.
scared.
Now that's what the owner of the vessel is saying, not the police force.
Oh.
But interesting developments.
So I going back to these definitions, because the international law was brought up right there. I think I know too about those things. Article 101 of the United Nations Convention on the Law of the Sea, UNCLOS, of the 10th of December 1982, provides the following definition of piracy. A, any illegal acts of violence or detention or any act of depredation committed by private ends by the crew or the passengers of a private ship or a private aircraft and directed, 1, on the high seas against another ship or aircraft or against persons or property on board such ship or aircraft. 2, against a ship, aircraft, persons, or property in a place outside the jurisdiction of any state. B, any act of voluntary participation in the operation of a ship or an aircraft with knowledge of facts making it a pirate ship or aircraft. C, any act or inciting or of intentionally facilitating an act described in subparagraph A or B. This is the international instrument that deals with the laws of the sea.
So that seems to cover what happened
Yes.
in the past few days.
So technically, this is a violation of international law.
We didn't need that to tell us that. But yes, it's good to know that this is how that would be seen to anyone outside of this country, it seems. Let's hear what these callers have to say. Good morning. You're on the air.
Hey, my brother.
Hi, good morning.
John, the second.
Hi.
Yeah, I just want to insert my little 2 cents on this whole situation. And I think within the definition, one of the key things there is high seas. And over time, this term piracy has been conflated, as it says in the new definition, with all sort of acts of violence and thievery on the seas. However, when we talk about it from the Bahamian context, I think that this would fall more under the category of wrecking. Right?
Yeah.
Because piracy, essentially, they don't have an active crew. Remember, the ship was right there, wrecked on a reef that I believe that you could see right there from the mainland, right? So it's not like this was Now, I'm not, of course, justifying the looting, the thievery. Of course, it's all still illegal. But in the context of the story coming internationally, and this is something that we always have to bear as members of the African diaspora, where they make these little sly remarks like we in some type of banana republic, making comments about the stability of the country and all of that thing. And when you talk about wreckers, it's usually just opportunist stuff, number one. And number two, things that can be restored, right? So traditionally wrecking back then, they would have taken the whole ship apart and sell the hull and all of these things. But of course, a big barge like that, they probably don't have the resources. And then it's different because a lot of it probably wasn't done for resale. So of course, there's a lot of nuance within it. However, to conflate this whole thing as piracy in the Bahamas, I think, in my opinion, is highly inaccurate, despite those definitions.
Yeah. Now the report did say that this is very rare, unheard of, and they hope it isn't. The Jacksonville people said they hope it isn't a sign of things to come and a sign of instability in the country. So they might have covered themselves with that. But yes, we definitely don't want this to become a frequent occurrence.
Yeah, this piracy thing, But I think, again, just as a good opportunity for us to tap into our history. This is one of the reasons why history is so important, right? And of course, again, not justifying what happened, but we know that this has been a part of our culture for centuries, And there's a distinct difference between piracy and wrecking. And for me, this falls more under the peruse of wrecking. Even though they didn't bring it to salvages and all of that, I'm just talking about, sort of the act itself in the context of Bahamian culture, right? And so for them to use this word piracy, I feel like it's a little bit of sensationalism. And I'm sure it's a business, so they're trying to get clicks, they're trying to sell papers and all of that. But for me, if they had just said looters instead of piracy, and of course, wrecking is not a terminology that's probably familiar to them or that culture within itself. That's sort of led to this sort of, negative portrayal nationally. And they should have done a little better to specify the island. And those reefs off of Abaco, by the way, they famous for a long time for having all of these shipwrecks, And I do sort of slightly agree with the Minister of Defense in terms of, there does seem to be a sort of entitlement and privilege to where they say, oh, well, you're supposed to have law enforcement, particularly those operating on the seas, watching my property and all of this stuff. When, of course, we know we have much greater issues on the high seas, if you will, that are a much greater concern to the general public. Whether we're talking about undocumented migration or poaching in our waters, right? So for me, I kind of in the middle with it, but I just wanted to make that sort of point about us considering it and calling it more so wrecking than piracy, not, of course, justifying it. As well, right?
Okay. Yeah. All right. Thanks a lot. Appreciate it, Chris.
Please,
again, I don't know.
Please Just let me go, please.
Yeah, you want to go before we take these calls?
Yes, please. Okay, cool. Great. Wonderful. AI summary. Haha. Before I read from the exact law. Sorry, y'all know I'm a geek in this way. I do apologize. I like researching. Wrecking in the Bahamas refers to the practice of salvaging goods from shipwrecks, which has been historically significant to the economy. Under Bahamian law, wreckers are required to be licensed and must bring salvaged goods to Nassau for auction, with specific regulations governing the distribution of proceeds from the salvage. Now, that's the AI summary. I want to go to Chapter 274 of our law. It's the Abandoned Wreck Law, which I believe has been updated in recent years for the salvaging that goes on with persons trying to find treasure. So according to this chapter 274, an abandoned wreck means any wreck which has remained continuously upon the seabed within the limits of the Bahamas for a period of 50 years or upwards before being brought to shore. That was not on the seabed.
Definitely not 50
According
years.
to law, that is not wrecking.
Okay. Well, let's take another call. Good morning. You're on the air. Hi, caller. Are you there? Let's take the other one. Good morning. You're live on the air.
Morning, how you guys doing?
Doing well.
Good. I think it's a bit of a stretch to say pirates. Yes, it gives us as Bahamians a black eye, but when you think of piracy, you think of something happening under duress, people being forced at gunpoint or whatever weapon may be used. But I think they were just opportunists and not pirates. That's strong language to say pirates. There are no reports of anybody being held at gunpoint or being, commandeered.
But again, we went through the definition, so that it doesn't have to include that to be considered piracy. As long as it's theft at sea, it can be considered piracy.
That sounds like a loose definition of that term.
Okay.
Because all the instances I know of piracy, it's under duress. People are being held at gunpoint. People are being made to stop the vessel, et cetera, et cetera. So, I don't know. But
Those are the classic definitions, sure. But you agree that this is a terrible thing that happened?
Of course.
Yeah.
Of course it is, But, hey, it's unfortunate. But we'll see how we get out of this.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Let's take a few more calls before we have to go to the news. Good morning. Caller, you're on the air.
Yes, good morning. On the Bahamian coat of arms will say the pirates has left, so I don't know how that refers to that. That's just my comment.
Okay. Yeah, lots of things we've been told that left have been around from anyway. Nothing ever seems to leave.
We've gone back to
nothing ever seems to leave.
Yeah, no. Abaco peoples, not all of y'all, just I said who was doing the bad stuff. Gone back to original motto of the country, man. Before we had that one.
Let's take another call. Good morning, you're on the air.
Good morning, how you doing?
Doing well.
Yeah, not the end, back in the day in Long Island, that's what was happening off of Long Island too. A lot of shops in Long Island got their material, their stuff from goods from merchants that passed into and got shipwrecked. But guess what? That news report on the TV, whatever that channel was, when they talk about piracy, the first thing came to my mind is Somalia. And when they mentioned all the small boats that go fast. Hello?
Yeah, we're listening.
Yeah, when they started running all that garbage, that was a bunch of foolishness, man. That's just to sell papers. They can see the barge was...
They showed the videos, though.
But they say, guess what? All they had to do was say the barge ran aground,
they did.
and people came on board and was stealing items. When the piracy came up, when they said the piracy, I tell you, the vivid picture came in mind was with the captain in the boat with them Somalians.
Okay.
Shooting rocket launchers and AK-47s.
It doesn't have to be violence for it to be piracy. It doesn't have to be violence.
Where the violence was.
There doesn't have to be violence.
I know, but I'm saying, right? For them to sell and make it so fantastic and juicy, they mentioned pirates, especially Pirates of the Caribbean. Do what? They had to throw that inside there. And I said, these people I'm talking a bunch of foolishness.
Okay. All right. Thanks a lot. Appreciate it. Well, like I said, you don't like the definitions. Don't do the actions. Let's read these messages before we take a break. This person says here, so is this a case of looting? In this case, looting was a good thing because who knows if any environmental assessments or fines would have been levied if the videos didn't go viral. No, Texter, no. There goes every government in the past few decades being reactionary again. Did they even know that the barge was in our waters? Of course they did. And pirating is rare in the Caribbean, so they obviously don't know our history. No, not rare today. What's happening? What are you missing? It doesn't. Oh, boy. Okay. This text says, say environmental breach and assessment needed from a barge temporarily on a reef when we are dredging all around. You're mixed up. Okay. Anyway, we're dredging all around this country, creating subdivisions where sensitive ecosystems exist.
Two different things.
Come on. Got to focus. We got to focus. This person says here, the definition of robbery involves violence or the threat of violence. If there is no violence, there's no robbery. The worst this can be is theft. The barge was in the Bahamas and not off the coast of the Bahamas. The corrupt corporate media, just like Donald Trump's been yelling for years. All right, so you got to give them a little. I don't know. People won't like this. Give them a little grace, right? So in their one landmass country, if it happens a couple miles off, it'll be off the coast of, right? And so to them, this is off the coast of. And they call all of us the Bahamas,
right?
And so that's how they. But anyway, don't get caught up on the wrong things.
No.
This person says, I agree with the offense, but I don't like how they're talking about Bahamians and how they are and how we are violent. No one said they were violent. They need to fix that story and focus on the truth. Now, as Wayne Monroe says, the suggestion by the boat owners that the police didn't interact or act sooner because they feared violence is debatable. He is not happy with that assertion. But this was a violent-free incident all around, it seems. 2 people found on the vessel, though, according to the police, who've been arrested. This person says, I can almost guarantee that person is going to blame this on migrants, that they will say Bahamians aren't thieves. Well, don't play in the mud and get mad when someone calls you dirty. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. This person says here, I thought the boaters said that they were lightening the load as opposed to taking the stuff. Yeah, you're funny. Very funny. We are just a crooked and corrupt nation. Wow, we're just truly a pirate nation from our inception. If you don't like it, change your ways. Because plenty of people around here have been calling people pirates for quite a while. But now that the foreigners saying it, you get upset. It's very interesting. The reporters in the U.S. didn't lie. Oh, no, they said the reporters did lie. The government needs to sue them. What are they suing them for? This person says here, this is a welcome statement from the OPM on protecting the environment. Can we finally find out the hefty fine levied against against FOCAL for the environmental breach in Exuma that was followed by months-long uncontrolled oil spill in Abaco? Okay, everyone's bringing up any issue, throwing it in today. For Pirate Stew. They go on to say, pirates, LOL, how appropriate. I hope they analyze that video and identify every single boat.
Well, are they all registered? We're learning today that not everything is registered.
This means every foreigner navigating Bahamian waters will now be armed to the T, very afraid and on a hair trigger. Oh, boy. These pirates, locally known as Thiefs, need to be prosecuted for impacting the national security of the Bahamas. Reminder, these same Thiefs were active and on the rampage post-Dorian, stealing construction supplies. Oh, well, I don't know if we know that for certain, but okay.
I mean, there were allegations.
Well, boy. This texter says, a pirate is a person who steals and loots merchandise not belonging to them. Therefore, those Bahamians are pirates.
I mean, we've read the dictionary definition.
C is the thing that makes it the piracy.
Yeah.
Right? Not necessarily
every definition
on
says
land.
that, right?
You can't come to my house and take the stuff and I call you a pirate.
It's just a difference in jurisdiction.
Sea, right. I could call you a pirate, but you won't necessarily be a pirate.
No. The
But if
only
we're at
time you
sea-
can be a pirate, like on at least from the definitions, is when you're pirating media.
Right.
Right. So
or,
that
or
one.
maybe if I have a houseboat. No, I'm joking. But
So if you put that in the canal, right?
If I
like,
put it in a
it's
canal,
inland, like does
and
that
you come
count?
away
Like,
boat on the canal,
but it's still the sea. Is that the sea? Because
I
the
don't know.
seawater. Like I don't know. Is it?
Might not be.
I can't. Wait, listen. I feel like in an episode of Popeye or something like that, or what is it? Big Johnny Depp. Okay, so which one is? Man.
Now, see, people are trying to get everyone in trouble here. Wasn't it curious that there was not any other person other than black Tiefs from the barge? No whites.
Not a sec.
Why
Look
are
where
you
you're
going there? What's happening here? Why are you doing this? We need to ensure that every single individual is apprehended and brought to justice. Indeed. Dwight, I also would like to know, is it stealing? When foreigners come here and take our shipwreck gold and treasures, should they bring them back or face charges?
So
DeAndre just read the
right. No, so that's a 2001. They actually updated the legislation surrounding
under the previous
salvaging
there
and
was
what,
something big about that.
right. And so you have
There
to
are
get your
rules.
research permit.
Yeah.
You have to get your permits, research permit, and then when you bring up there's a percentage allocation difference and whatnot like that. The contents have to be registered. Like this was a whole thing back in the day. I forget which minister.
It was Ferreira.
Was it? Yeah, but it was updated again recently, I feel, too.
Since then?
Yeah. It was just like a small one. It's the fees, because the fees
Oh,
were
the
on
fees
it were
probably.
increased.
Yeah. Mhm.
Right. And so it isn't just for salvaging, it's also for research, too.
Yeah.
So, like, sister pieces of legislation. But yeah, no, you can't just go down there and pick up the things.
Right,
It
no.
don't work that way no more.
There are big rules for that.
Now, not saying that it may not be happening, but just saying that the law on the book, you're supposed to get your permits and then register what you think the estimated worth is, all that good stuff. But you can Google it; it's there.
This text is asking, why was the ship allowed to leave without paying their fine to the Bahamas, just minus the goods lost from the government fine? Or
I won't be
don't
petty.
add that last part
Can it be
there.
petty? It can't be petty. Don't be petty. Okay.
It's unfortunate the captain wasn't in place to shoot off the first tow that brazenly stepped foot aboard private property. No doubt the following feat would have abandoned their mission, perhaps even running on water back to the shore. It's very descriptive language.
Powerful.
Or it could have ended in a terrible thing happening, right? It could have ended very badly. This person says here, Wayne Moreau, one shot across the bow. He never fails to entertain us. If it never happened, there wouldn't be anything to confuddle or sensationalize. Exactly. And this person says here, as we get ready to go to the break, we'll go out with our pirate music again, producer.
Where the Pirate of the Caribbean music?
That's from Pirates of the Caribbean.
Okay. I just want to.
Expulsus Piratus, Restituta Commercia.
I told you I'll be going back to that, but
happen
no.
yet.
But they
Hasn't
said the
happened
pirates were expelled in that version. They here apparently.
They diversified their ways.
They updated,
Wrecking,
evolved, you know.
drug dealing, human trafficking. Yeah, these same old. You see how many people have boats? Just you and me don't have a boat. I hope you see that.
Listen, no, I try to
Producer,
get
do you
one,
have a boat?
I try.
No, so the
I try
three
to
of us, we don't have boats, but everybody else has a boat. Wow.
So I can't even say I'd be on boats no more. Then I was on a boat yesterday. I was actually on a pirate boat yesterday. That's like the actual.
Look at you. We got a whole lot more to talk about. We'll get to all your text messages and take more of your calls. This is Morning Blend on Guardian Radio 96.9.
We're devils and black sheep, really bad eggs. Drink up, me hearty, show ho! Yo ho, a pirate's life for me. We're beggars and blighters and ne'er-do-well cats. Drink up, me hearty, show ho! I bet we're loved by our mommies and dads. Drink up.
Bahamian families, mark your calendars. On Sunday, November 23rd from 6 to 8 p.m. at the British Colonial Hilton, meet 13 of Canada's top CAIS-accredited boarding schools. Join our schools for a casual yet informative Canadian reception directly following the Betty Walker Fair. Discover how CAIS boarding schools offer small classes, personalized support, and a safe, inclusive community that prepares students for success at top global universities. Don't miss it. Sunday, November 23rd from 6 to 8 p.m. at the British Colonial Hilton.
No one likes a fender bender.
Oh, man.
From a little scratch to a full mashup, NUA Insurance has got you covered with auto insurance tailored to fit your needs and budget. For affordable rates with free on-site accident assistance, visit us online or in branch and just ask us. NUA Insurance. Ask us because we've got you covered.
Tired of banks forcing you to use technology to bank the way they want you to? Your convenience is important. So no matter what your banking needs, Commonwealth Bank's friendly staff are always available in branch for that personal one-on-one service. But when you choose technology, our online and mobile banking app offers you state-of-the-art functionality. The choice is yours. Commonwealth Bank. Bank the way you want.
In the world of business, technology is not a choice, it's a necessity. And for businesses that demand excellence, there's only one choice for unparalleled support and cutting-edge technology. Custom Computers. You have challenges and we have solutions. Computing, networking, storage, and printing for enterprises large and small, aligned with premium brands like HP, Microsoft, Konica Minolta, and more. Get tech done the right way with Custom Computers. Call the know-how team at 396-1101.
Under the distinguished patronage of Thelma Hanna, Louis Clare Jr. presents Emmanuel Has Come, an evening concert celebrating the birth of Christ our Savior. It all happens one night only, November 22nd, 7:30 p.m. at the Hillview Seventh-day Adventist Church, located on Tonique Williams Darling Highway. Admission is free, so come out and be blessed. An offering will be lifted. This ad has been sponsored by Screws and Fasteners World.
At Cleveland Clinic, you set your course, not cancer. So when your journey takes an unexpected turn, you seek out the experts who've conquered it before, and you forge new paths to help fight cancers. For every route to a cure, for every care in the world. See how we're innovating cancer care at Cleveland Clinic today.
Southwest Plaza has so many stores, I've been trying to find a sensible way to list them all. There's CBS Bahamas, the Ashai Institute, BENC Snack World, Bamboo Shack Bahamas, there, the Athlete's Foot and BTC, Games and More, John Bull Fine Threads, Alive Bahari, Dairy Queen, 700 Wines and Spirits, Sandy's Clocks and Island Lock, Starbucks and Lowe's Pharmacy, plus Marco's Pizza and Lorraine. Southwest Plaza, what a wide array of stores. Southwest Plaza, stop by today and explore.
Step inside the John Baptiste Jazz Club at Bahamar, where the rhythm of the islands of the Bahamas meets the soul of New Orleans. Every night, the lights dim, the music swells, and the air fills with that unmistakable energy, the kind that makes you close your eyes and just feel. Savor signature cocktails, curated small plates, and live performances from world-class musicians, all in an intimate, artfully designed space where every seat has a story. Whether it's a romantic night out or a spontaneous evening with friends, this is where you want to be. The John Baptiste Jazz Club, only at Bahamar. Reserve your table now at bahamar.com/jazz club or through the Bahamar app, because every evening plays its own tune.
Looking for insurance that fits your lifestyle and your budget? At Star General Insurance, we've got you covered. Whether it's motor insurance with flexible options for third-party liability and comprehensive coverage, or commercial insurance products that protect your business, we have choices you can afford. Own a home or renting? Our home insurance products have just what you need. And for the adventurers out there, we offer marine insurance too. Visit our website or social media pages for contact information and quotes. Star General, insurance made simple.
Don't wait for a storm to arrive. Stock up on hurricane supplies, make home repairs, purchase a generator, and more this hurricane season with a Fidelity personal loan. Make that move today. Call 356-7764.
Fidelity, we're good for you.
This is Guardian Radio, your station for up-to-the-minute news and intelligent, interactive, and engaging conversations. 96.9 FM. The views and opinions of the hosts and guests are their own. and do not necessarily reflect the views of the management and staff of Guardian Radio.
Wake up, it's a new day. Wake up, it's a new day.
Good morning and welcome to Morning Blend Business on this Monday, November 17th, 2025. Welcome back to our Morning Blend listeners. I'm Dwight Strachan along with Deandra Cartwright, and we've got a lot to get to in our final few minutes here, our final hour here. So we've been talking about quite a few things, and we'll get back to your text messages on that. We've been talking about the tragic fire at the fish fry at Arawak Key, destroyed 6 stalls. Got a lot of your comments on that to get to. Been talking about this barge off Abaco and the looting that took place and just the chaos that has ensued from that. And there's a whole lot more to talk about in this hour. So passports, what the Ministry of Foreign Affairs is saying about the claims that have been made. And you heard about this. Both sides on this were on the show at various points over the past few months. What was happening in Exuma with Rosewood in Integra and Turtlegrass, which was opposing this development in the manner it was taking. But there's been a big change there. So we're going to begin with that one. We'll get to the passports and get back to your text messages on everything in just a bit. But this is a big development over the weekend. So Rosewood Exuma to file new site plan. Turtlegrass developer calls move a huge victory. Our Chester Robards writing about it in today's Guardian Business section. Integra will submit a new site plan approval to the Town Planning Committee for its Rosewood Exuma project after withdrawing its appeal at the Subdivision and Development Appeal Board, where the development was facing intense scrutiny from concerned Exumians at a neighboring development. Chairman of the Town Planning Committee, Keenan Johnson, confirmed to Guardian Business yesterday that he received a letter from Integra advising that they would be withdrawing their appeal and submitting a revised proposal to the committee. Johnson said he could not say exactly what occurred at the appeal level. However, neighboring development Turtlegrass Resort and Island Club released a statement yesterday claiming Integra's reversal is due to its success at appealing the development as approved by the Town Planning Committee and the Department of Environmental Planning and Protection, DEP. Turtlegrass called Integra's original plan deeply flawed and said this return to the stage of submitting new plans to the Town Planning Committee, the TPC, sends them back to square one. Integra also released a statement yesterday explaining that it was withdrawing its appeal as a neighborly gesture to Turtlegrass and resubmitting a site plan where it has moved its commercial dock farther away from the neighboring development. Integra's principal, Felipe McLean, said they wish to peacefully coexist with their Turtlegrass neighbor. McLean saying, quote, "We are committed to transparency and responsible development. In light of recent claims that have contributed to delays in the project's progress, we've chosen to submit this revised plan to bring clarity and resolution to the concerns raised." So this comes just weeks after Integra held a groundbreaking ceremony on Samson Key to commemorate the start of the project. Turtlegrass, which was approved before Rosewood Exuma and is already almost complete with part of Phase 1 part of phase one already underway or almost done. Turtlegrass has determined not to give up fighting the protection of the North Bay against redevelopment or overdevelopment. So Turtlegrass saying in its statement, quote, Integra's decision to abandon the deeply flawed site plan approval for its Rosewood-branded resort is a huge victory for the rule of law. It is an important win for grassroots community efforts to protect the environment from overdevelopment and a clear vindication of Turtlegrass's efforts to protect our small, eco-friendly retreat from massive encroachment. The abandoned approval was already subject to active appeal by Turtlegrass and another neighbor. We are confident that it would have been overturned in any event, given the lack of proper public consultation and other serious procedural flaws. Integra's retreat demonstrates that the project could not withstand scrutiny and collapsed before a ruling was issued. As you may recall, back in August, Turtlegrass filed a protest with the Department of Physical Planning alongside a judicial review of the Rosewood Exhumer project, while Turtlegrass owner Bob Coughlin has continued to contend that he has no issue with Integra developing its Rosewood property. He does have a major issue with the dredging, excavation, and construction that will happen in the North Bay of Samson Key to satisfy Integra's need for a dock-to-land building supplies, workers, fuel, and more. The project became a bone of contention within the Exhumas, given that Coughlin insists the development and eventual operation of the commercial dock will render his project futile and ultimately unsuccessful. Turtlegrass Resort's business model hinged on the pristine North Bay remaining a sanctuary for his low-density project, where his guests would swim with turtles that frequent the bay and enjoy its reefs and tidal flows, and environmentalists would study the surrounding Bahamian waters. All right. So a whole lot more on this. We've heard lots of environmentalists. Again, we've had quite a few discussions with both sides on this, and I'm sure this is going to be seen as a major victory, and that the Integra is willing to come up with a better solution will be seen as the best solution for everybody. Here, if you want to comment on that, you can give us a call or text us 422-4796 or call in 323-6232, 325-4316, 325-4259. Call us toll free 242-300-5720. Okay. So let's get to this other story, and then we'll get back to your comments about the fire at the fish fry and about this barge in Marsh Harbor, in Abaco. All right, so this was a big story last week. What was it? Passports in a bag or something?
Right.
All right, so Fred Mitchell, the Minister of Foreign Affairs, responding to this. Minister of Foreign Affairs Fred Mitchell dismissing claims from FNM leader Michael Pintard that there's been security breaches with respect to the issuance of Bahamian passports. Mitchell said Bahamian documents are, quote, secure and issued under very strict guidelines. Our Rachel Scott writing about it today. So Mitchell saying, quote, that... here, sorry. There is no question that our documents are internationally accepted up to the highest standards and that the release of those documents are done to very, very strict guidelines. And when loose attacks are made in public for what seems to be reasons other than common sense and evidence, it undermines the authenticity of our documents. No Bahamian, regardless of their stance, should be engaged in undermining the authenticity of our documents. I want to take this opportunity to reassure the public about the security of the documents and the fact that the Ministry of Foreign Affairs takes its job seriously with regards to the issue of documents. So, corruption claims within the ministry, the Immigration Department, have resurfaced on multiple occasions in recent years. The FNM has repeatedly raised the issue as one of great concern, though the government has consistently denied the claims. During a rally last week, Pintard claimed that the government, quote, fired people following an investigation that a bag of Bahamian passports was on board a Bahamas Air flight headed south.
That is a very strong claim, that.
Mm-hmm. Pintart saying on the rally stage, quote, they found on the plane, some would say, unaccompanied passports. Somebody else told the story this way, that the bag burst and the passports fell on the ground, and an investigation had to happen. So this flight that was heading south had a package of those passports. We are advised that the investigation has been completed. Persons have been fired, but the minister with responsibility for the airline has not said a word to the public, nor has the Minister of National Security, nor the Minister of Foreign Affairs, who has responsibility for passports, nor has the Chief Passport Officer said anything. That's a serious, serious claim. Wow. So in response, the Office of the Prime Minister categorically denied the claims and labeled them a, quote, desperate political attempt by the F&M ahead of the Golden Isles by-election. OPM said that all relevant authorities, including the Commissioner of Police, the head of the Passport Office, and the Minister of National Security were consulted, and none were aware of that alleged incident.
Powerful.
The bag burst because there's so many?
Maybe, but if it
How
burst,
was it going to work?
What type of material was it?
Heading south, and then what was it? Okay, let's get your reaction to all this, folks. A lot to talk about, as we said this morning. You can call in 323-6232, 325-4316, 325-4259. Call us toll-free, 242-300-5720. Tweet us, Facebook us, text us, 422-4796. So we're talking about the passports. We're talking about Exuma and the project on Samson Key. We're talking about the fire at the fish fry. And we're talking about the barge and the looters, thieves, pirates, whatever you want to call them.
They don't want you to call them pirates.
Don't call them pirates. Okay, sure.
They say it wasn't pirate. And
But they fire with thieves. They fire with that? Thieves? Thieves?
I
Is
think
there
like
a
that,
V
I
in
don't.
thieves? Or is it just thieves?
No, they were
Anyway.
wrecking.
Caller, good morning. You're live on the air.
Dwight, good morning. How are you, sir?
Doing well. Good morning.
And good morning to your co-host.
Morning.
I'm really, really happy that this story with the passports made its way back to the news today. And I'm going to take Fred Mitchell's side on this from a particular perspective, in that in the last couple of weeks, many of us have said on the public radio that making accusations without having substantiating evidence is not acceptable in Bahamian society. We've had any number of problems as a result of that. We have a case right now with the police that's headed to judicial review. We've had the case with the lady from the food program and a few others. And for the leader of the opposition, who is aspiring to be the prime minister of this country, to not appreciate that right now the Bahamian passport is gold standard. We are admitted to over 133 countries without restriction due to the work of his predecessors. Various foreign ministers have worked diligently to give the passport the standing that it has. And for him to, in my view, make such a reckless statement. I was highly concerned when I saw the headline about Bahamian passport. And I want to say to Michael Pintat that sometimes something sounds good on the political stage, but you are aspiring to be more than someone that's on a political stage at a rally. You want to be the leader of the Bahamas. And as such, you must be guarded in the way you speak about certain issues that not only affect your chance to be elected, but also affect the future of the Bahamian people and the hard work that our predecessors have done to give us what we have. And I'm very disappointed that Michael Pintat made such a statement. Even if he had evidence to that effect, that is not the way you handle something so diplomatically sensitive.
Yeah, I think they encouraged him to come forward with the information if he does have some credible information. It is indeed very reckless.
I'm sure he have access to Prime Minister Davis' office and all the other hard-working diplomats around this country and around the world who work to give the Bahamas this passport the credibility that it has. Do you know the amount of work that it takes to have a passport with a ranking of in the top 40 passports in the world? That was in poor taste, Mr. Pintard, and it is one really, really, really decision that gives me concern as to whether or not you understand what it means to aspire to be the leader of the Bahamas. That's all I have to say on that.
Oh, boy. Wow. Okay. All right. Thank you very much. All right, we've got a lot of your text messages. You can continue to call in. This person says here, this is back to the piracy. It's amazing how you and your co-host find it funny that a foreign station can use an illegal act by about 30 people and castigate the entire Bahamas. Did they do that? What is further disturbing is that Guardian Radio even isn't trying to correct the silly newscast, but is adding to it as if this is what we do in the country. That's not, nobody said that, but it's what happened. It's what happened. We all know that what happened to the goods on the barge was stealing and has nothing to do with piracy. No, we don't. We don't know that. And we told you the definitions. We looked it up. We gave you many different definitions. And you don't like it, but that's what it is. When it happens on the seas, you stealing from a boat, it's a form of piracy. If you don't like it, don't do it. Don't be saying that all Bahamians are pirates.
We literally said we're trying not to generalize.
But
we recognize
that's what that is. You got on your boat and you sailed out there and you took stuff off the boat illegally.
This is powerful.
Okay.
And if you don't laugh, you will cry.
I don't want to laugh at all.
It literally feels like something out of a movie. And then the justifications. So we're arguing the use of words. The acts were committed. We are arguing the use of descriptors.
They don't like to be called that. They don't like to be called that.
We have domestic law, regional law, international law. We literally quoted the international law. That has been breached. The local laws, which also technically have been breached because you can't say you were wrecking. It doesn't satisfy the criteria for wrecking. And even if you were salvaging, you didn't get the permits to do so. I'm not sure. Anyway.
Let's read some more messages. This person says here, that would explain a lot. If passports are going down on Bahamas, oh boy, here we go.
Be very careful, Dwight.
Oh boy. Okay, I'm not going to read the rest of that one there. Good. Bag with passports. How many passports? The plural could mean 2 or thousands. Well, again, the supposed bag ruptured, I guess, the weight of how many, but nobody knows this to be true. Our documents are secure. Wasn't somebody recently found to have a fraudulent passport a few weeks ago? One-offs, very different from a whole bag. You know, let's think about it. Lots of people texting some things that just won't be able to read. If the story about the passports were true, I'm sure there would have been a video. We capture murders on phones. I'm sure that would have been recorded as if it were true. Okay. Dwight, I have seen at least 3 Haitians with voters' cards and passports, and I mean illegals who can't speak English. I've heard others who show videos of Haitians expressing they bought their passports, so who he think he fooling? These are facts. These passports are being sold just like driver's licenses. Wow.
Oh, these are some powerful allegations today.
With the lack of transparency and lack of accountability, everybody should be encouraged to do an investigation. Okay. Pintard is head of the Public Accounts Committee, right? So he should use his position to uncover and reveal the facts to us. Pintard is a responsible individual and holds a significant office. To have said what he said requires evidence, and he should now present it or simply withdraw and apologize. He just can't let that stand. Very interesting.
I mean, evidence is critical to these sorts of allegations, you know.
All right, let's go back to some earlier messages. We'll come back to the calls in just a bit. This is back to the fire stuff. Here's another option for the association at the fish fry. They can look at self-insurance by way of a captive program.
Okay. You like suggestions.
Okay. Yeah, sure. We don't have insurance companies in the Bahamas. We only have insurance brokers. There's a difference. Yikes.
That's a very important distinction, actually.
It sickens me to see that every time there's a tragedy, these lousy politicians pop up talking nonsense. A lot of these problems can be avoided if we'd be proactive.
What does it mean to be proactive in this situation?
This person says here, I'm editing this. To heck with the greedy insurance companies with unfair practices. The vendors need to form their own cooperative financial account that will be in place for such other incidents. Wow. What would a fire be in the Bahamas if the fire trucks don't run out of water? That's what we are known for. From the straw market fire to the Kelly Dock fire, let's embrace our slack culture.
I didn't want to bring up the straw market fire, right? But I'm just wondering, capacity-wise, resource-wise, are we learning? And I'm not throwing any aspersions. I'm curious to know, have we looked at the analysis, if there was one? I'm hoping there was one. I'm speaking out of ignorance because I literally don't know if there was one. So if there was, please let us know.
This is a long question for the answer to be no.
For an analysis from the straw market to the Kelly Dog to now, I mean, I hope we have our keys. We could actually trend certain data to learn. Do we have that?
Yeah, you finished?
I think so because I don't want to list all the other ones.
Is no.
None.
This texter says, callers are coming to you right now. The texter says, the whole situation is the government's fault. Regulations about building codes, all the roads in the Bahamas started with the shortcuts, just how all the buildings with Fish Fry and Potter's Key, people doing business, doing things as they please, doing as they please, no regulations. Now in the 21st century, where the codes, there's not one punctuation mark there. It's just a lot of words, but I get your point. Yes, we need to get serious. Yeah. This person says here, how can the Prime Minister be concerned about sanitation at the Fry when from its inception the bathrooms were being closed at 12 a.m.? I have seen young ladies urinating on the ground in urgency. Today, all public bathrooms are still locked by 12, and nature doesn't call after 12, I guess. Interesting point there. Let's take these calls and then we got to take a break. Good morning, caller. You're live on the air.
Good morning.
Hi.
Good morning, sir. I work in one of the government agency. When you try to make a report that your senior officers are doing something wrong, you get destroyed. I work in the department, but I can't say where because they'll know. But I work in the department, and some things that's been going on that the regular officers can't say nothing, can't do nothing about it. When you try to go make a report, you will get destroyed. What Mr. Pintard is saying is fairly true, sir. When you go to the police to go put in a complaint, before that could get to your boss, before that could get to when you go to report it, your boss then will destroy you because it comes right back to them. That before anything happens, it has to go to the police, and the police just go with their friends and they go and tell your boss, and you get destroyed. So whatever Michael Pintard is saying is true. I work in one of the departments, and trust me, sir, it is real. These people are selling the passports, and they just hate to know what is going on. It's finally coming out. Thank you very much, sir.
Wow. Oh, boy. Okay.
Oh,
I hope you don't get victimized. All the best to you. It's a small place. Everybody knows everybody's business. You got to know. You have to suspect, right? There's got to be. You must know where the leak is. Who is the problem? Unless this is much more widespread than we're willing to admit. I don't know how it can be allowed to continue if it is happening, right? But this is insane. Caller, good morning. You're on the air.
Yes, good morning. This is Strachan again in Deandra. Mr. Strachan, what stood out for me, right, about the report about the ship that was wrecked in Abaco, right? Mm-hmm. I'm glad you picked up on they said it was off the coast of the Bahamas, which I thought was ridiculous. Obviously shows the ignorance of the reporter, right? Mm. He's obviously a PSYOPs officer because what stood out for me was the word commandeered. Now, DeAndre could just read it for the whole Bahamas here what commandeered means. This has a military context. So the fact that they said it was commandeered was what was frightening for me. And as it relates to what DeAndre was saying, is everybody knows everybody. But you can't say that DeAndre and Abaco has more migrants than local population. So we don't know. You can't just swear. Things are just kind of just some nuance here. But also, what really is fighting for me with the situation with Michael Pindar and the passports. The thing is, Dwight, what I hate about it, during the pandemic, I was giving out a bunch of lies, right, that found out subsequently to be truth. So what I'm saying is, if a politician is going to be the arbiter of truth or determines truth, then it's cheaper we don't even have a brains between our ears. Because what I'm saying is, Mr. Strachan, 2 instances in my life, I've had money taken from me by police officers. I didn't have any evidence. But what that mean? They didn't take it from me, Mr. Strachan. My house was searched and family members, other money was missing, and other people in society have had money taken them doing searches. So there's no evidence, so it never happens. So there's infallibility, and just the insanity continues. And Dwight, the sad part about it, you never get any recourse, not even a discourse. When you go up to the barracks, it's a military drill they have to put you through. So I haven't heard you. I've been death threatened by the police. Nobody apologized and said they're sorry for what happened to me. I'm not sorry for anybody. We are weak, pathetic people, Mr. Strachan. You have to allow people to express themselves, because what I'm saying, in other words, not having evidence doesn't mean something doesn't exist or occur. So let us take this naivety out of our minds, man. It's sickening for me. We know that, all right, give me the Freedom of the Information Act to dispel this rumor. Please, give us a break, Mr. Fred Mitchell. Give thanks.
Okay. One more call and then we got to take a break. Good morning, caller. You're live on the air.
I'm happy to be your last caller on this matter. Yeah, Dwight, I understand that the minister is saying that the passports are secured. We're pretty much sure that it is secured. What we are concerned about is how is it getting in the hands of people, because they have a very, very secure document. And it is true. I attended a ceremony for the Immigration Department many years ago when we had a prime minister who stayed in power too long. And he actually said to the officers, gentlemen, you and ladies, you are in a position where you're going to come across a lot of situations where you have to use your judgment. If you decide to break the law, I don't want to hear about it. Now, that tells me that I could get away with it. And so someone has set the precedent for us to be doing wrong. And notice, most of the times it happens under the PLP administration when you have all these things, because there was a fellow who named rhymes with times who was found with ballot boxes. You know what I'm talking about. Good day.
Okay. All right. Thanks a lot. Let's, you want to, squeeze that in? Okay, let's squeeze this in really quickly, Call. You got about 30 seconds. Good morning.
Yes. Okay, Dwight. Let me just be quick about this thing. I'm just doing a quick word for. Let's be quick about this, right? We know in the Bahamas, we in politicians, we says deny first, confirm later. That's a fact of the way public officials works. But we only need to look. Let me just give you one instance. In February of this year, the acting chief passport officer, Nicholas Simonet, said previous decisions made outside the Ministry of Foreign Affairs has weakened the passport office verification process, creating an opportunity for fraudulent activity. There's a piece of it. I could give you a list of other cases in this country where cases of passports has been issued to individuals, or individuals have had passport with no explanation, and people have been charged. And do you know what the amazing thing is? We never, ever hear, or you cannot find the disposition, only but about a few of them. And so we have changed our passport 3 times in the last 20 years due to a foreign government beginning to reject our passport for the fraud that they determine is coming from within the passport office. And each one of these passports were different electronic passport from the time we began the electronic passport. Ask ourselves, why do we keep upgrading our process? The problem we have is data security and being able to track the issuance of passport by leaving what is called a digital footprint. And we're saying that we want to go to biometrics that you can never withdraw. You cannot get your face back, your fingerprint back, your DNA back, none of these things. But if somebody was to issue a passport, we cannot lead directly to who the person is that issued the passport. And that's what digital security is about. That is what data protection is about. That is what data sovereignty is about. We pretend, we use words very eloquently in this town, but when none of the people using the words to defend the words they use. Mm-hmm. And I say we should do exactly as the FNM called for from February.
have an audit of the passport office, including security protocol, including all of these different things. But this is the conversation that we must continue.
Thank you very much. Okay. We're going to read these messages as we get ready to go to break. This person says here, evidence, that's not how we roll in the country. The head of the food program was arrested and humiliated before an investigation was even done. Now we know that she didn't do anything wrong. Evidence, that's not how we roll. I guess it's what's good for the goose is good for the gander. This person says here, for Bahamas to justify this is shameful. I'm with the minister. They are thieving. If I had a 100-foot yacht and it ran up on the reef and we had to abandon for our safety, and people came on the boat and stole everything, would that be okay? Apparently, according to some. And this person says, I just listened to you and your co-host segment on the piracy incident in Abaco. It was balanced and well presented. Thank you. Okay. Hey, we got to go to a break. This is Morning Blend Business on Guardian Radio.
I'm as sharp as a blade anytime I crusade. I'm a pirate of the Caribbean.
Planning for retirement can be overwhelming, but with CFAL, it doesn't have to be. We offer tailor-made individual, group, and pension solutions that take the guesswork out of retirement planning. Whether it's for you or your company, don't leave your future to chance and let the trusted hands of CFAL's experts guide you toward peace of mind and financial stability. Low upfront costs and affordable monthly payments make it easy for you to build wealth so you can live well. Visit us at cfal.com to start on your path toward financial freedom. CFAL, growing wealth for future generations.
At RBC, your idea of getting more happens here with a no-fee loan. Share in up to $20,000 in cash prizes. Learn more at rbc.com/holiday loan.
You try to rest, roll with the best. For all your printing needs, there ain't no one better, no. For posters and banners, magazines and flyers. For window decals, greeting cards and newsletters. No job too big and there's no job too small. You name it, we can print it. Just give us a call. Let Print Masters bring your masterpiece to life.
Located in the Nassau Guardian Building, telephone 302-2361. Unwrap the gift of style with Nassau Tile's Holiday Warm-Up event from November 17th to 29th. Now is the time to beat the holiday rush with savings so hot you'll feel the cheer. Save 20% off store-wide on all tile, setting materials, backsplashes, mosaics, trims, and more. Gobble up even more savings on selected net items. Shop the Holiday Warm-Up event at Nassau Tile for a feast of savings. Visit our showroom on Doddswell Street or call 322-2100 to check off your holiday style wish list today.
This is Guardian Radio 96.9 FM. Fresh news, smart talk, all day.
But this is my territory, hey, 'cause I'm a pirate of the Caribbean.
It is time for your morning business report, brought to you by CFAL. Deputy Prime Minister and Minister of Tourism, Investments and Aviation, Chester Cooper, telling reporters that he has proposals on his desk for hotels, retail, and mixed-use developments for downtown and Cable Beach, and will soon make an announcement about one. Cooper responding to a question about progress by the Downtown NASA Partnership in revitalizing downtown. While he didn't comment on the partnership itself, which was once a working body for the advancement of downtown Nassau with a board and a managing director, Cooper said progress is being made downtown through constant work. That work is now being overseen by the Tourism Development Corporation. He explained that more derelict buildings will be demolished in the coming weeks. He said more than 10 buildings have already been demolished downtown. Andros Chamber of Commerce President Darren Bethel says the economy of Mangrove Key is critical to both the north and south portions of Andros. Bethel, speaking to Guardian Business about the $22.7 million water and roadworks project for Mangrove Key, said the government was talking about fixing the roads from the previous election, and he's happy that they're finally getting around to doing it. You can read more about his comments in today's Guardian Business section. Overseas, more Americans are falling behind on paying their bills to keep on the lights and heat in their homes. That's according to a new analysis of consumer data, a warning sign for the U.S. economy and another political headache for U.S. President Donald Trump. Past due balances to utility companies jumped 9.7% annually to $789 between the April to June periods of 2024 and 2025. According to the Century Foundation, a liberal think tank, the increases overlapped with a 12% jump in monthly energy bills during the same period. Consumers usually prioritize their utility bills along with their mortgages and auto debt. According to the foundation's president, the increase in both energy costs and delinquencies may suggest that consumers are falling behind on other bills too. Troubles paying electricity and natural gas bills reflect something of an economic quandary for U.S. President Trump, who is promoting the build-out of artificial intelligence as a key part of an economic boom he's promised for America. But AI data centers are known for their massive use of electricity and threaten to further increase utility bills for everyday Americans. The Federal Aviation Administration is saying that it's lifting all restrictions on commercial flights that were imposed at 40 major U.S. airports during the country's longest government shutdown. Airlines can resume their regular flight schedules beginning today. The announcement was made in a joint statement yesterday by Transportation Secretary Sean P. Duffy and FAA Administrator Brian Bedford, citing safety concerns as staffing shortages grew at air traffic control facilities during the shutdown. The FAA issued an unprecedented order to limit traffic in the skies. It has been in place since November 7th, affecting thousands of flights across the U.S. Impacted airports included large hubs like New York, Chicago, Los Angeles, and Atlanta. And Samsung Electronics and other major South Korean companies announcing fresh domestic investment plans at a meeting with President Lee Jae-myung, hoping the moves will encounter concerns that the firms would prioritize U.S. investments under a trade deal. Lee's meeting with business leaders Sunday, coming days after his government finalized a trade deal with the United States in which Seoul pledged to invest $350 billion in U.S. industries in exchange for averting the Trump administration's highest tariffs. Samsung, a global leader in computer chips, said it will invest 450 trillion won, or $310 billion over the next 5 years to expand its domestic operations, including building another production line at its manufacturing hub to meet surging global semiconductor demands fueled by artificial intelligence. In your Market Watch, recapping trading on the BISX from Friday, your market movers: Commonwealth Bank moving 2,500 shares, closing at $4.25, down 3 cents. Focall moving 23,324, unchanged at $6.85. Finco moving 375, unchanged at $15.20. Consolidated Water down 26 cents, closing at $7.14. Emira Incorporated down 14 cents, closing at $11.73. The BISX All-Share Index closing at 3,067.26, down 0.43. Recapping the week, the local market ended the week with 42,044 shares crossing the exchange with 14 trades, accumulating a value of $291,109. The BISX All-Share Index gained 13.43 points, or 0.44%, ending the week at 3,063.59. Year-to-date, the index is up 55.37 points, or 1.841%. The week's volume and value leader, Focall, moving 33,624 shares in 3 trades with a value of $230,324. That's your Market Watch. And that is your morning business report, brought to you by CFAL, growing wealth for future generations. And tune in tonight to CFAL Talks right here on Guardian Radio at 6:30 p.m.
Looting their hearts is my pleasure. I've sailed across the 7 seas, yeah, but this is my territory. Hey, 'cause I'm a pirate of the Caribbean. as sharp as a blade. Anytime I crusade, I'm a pirate, pirate of the Caribbean. But slicker than Jack Sparrow.
We are back, Deandra Cartwright, with final 30 seconds of Morning Blend. We hope we don't ever have to play that Pirates of the Caribbean song, any Pirates of the Caribbean songs after today. Let's hope that was a one-off, a blip, an unfortunate...
Hopefully not.
A bug in the system, and that we are not those people.
No, we are not.
Let's hope we're not.
We can grow. We can change. Even though our ancestors may have indulged in certain practices, don't mean that we have to.
Sometimes it's in your DNA. I don't know. But again, that was an unfortunate situation for everybody. We hope it can all be resolved. We hope the folks' good consciences will allow folks to return the goods. And that they can get to the people who need it in Puerto Rico. They're struggling down there. And that there wasn't much damage. Hopefully, we're praying not much damage to that reef. My God.
There you go.
But anyway.
That is of the utmost importance.
Yeah. Thank you for being here this morning. Really appreciate it. There's a whole lot of text messages coming
Oh, I have one more thing if I could.
Really quick.
Yeah, okay, great. Ladies and gentlemen, as we know, the Bahamas National Trust is having one of their major fundraisers. The Jollification this coming weekend, and yours truly is going to have a table there. I have many hobbies, and so please look for me and my handmade jewelry. That is Saturday and Sunday coming.
Okay, we're going to be there. Thank you again. See
My
you
pleasure.
next week.
Thank you, Dwight, for
Don't
being
party
here.
too hard and make sure you
that
can
is
come out
true.
Monday morning.
I'm also racing on Sunday, though.
Racing what?
No.
What do you mean?
There's a half marathon happening on Sunday.
Oh, okay. You're doing a half marathon?
I'm still on the fence. The deadline is tomorrow to decide. So either the 5K or the full marathon.
So we might not see you on Monday. That's what you're saying.
I mean, just a valid
We'll keep our
heads up.
fingers crossed. Okay. Good luck. Good luck with with everything.
Thank you. Thank you.
again. I'll be back tomorrow morning, though, with more Morning Blend and Morning Blend Business right here on Guardian Radio 96.9. Everybody have a great day. Stay tuned for On the Clock with Aaron Green next.
Yeah, I'm a pirate, pirate of the Caribbean. Yeah. And I'm as sharp as a blade. Anytime I crusade, I'm a pirate, pirate of the Caribbean. But slicker than Jack Sparrow.
Don't wait for a storm to arrive. Stock up on hurricane supplies, make home repairs, purchase a generator, and more this hurricane season with a Fidelity personal loan. Make that move today. Call 356-7764.
Fidelity, we're good for you.
Join the Bahamas Heart Association for its inaugural golf tournament, proudly presented by Visa and Fidelity Bank on Sunday, November 30th at the spectacular Royal Blue Golf Club. Every swing brings hope and healing to young hearts. Gather your team and play with purpose or make a donation. Tee off for tiny hearts because every heartbeat deserves a chance. For more details, contact the Surfing the Sassoon Heart Foundation at sassoonheartfoundation.org.
Looking for the perfect Sunday outing? The National Art Gallery of the Bahamas is now open and free to all Bahamian citizens and residents. Spend the day admiring the evolution of Bahamian art. Soak in the natural beauty of our art park and take a little piece of culture home with you by browsing our gift shop. Whether you're an art lover or just curious, we've got something here for everyone. Bring your family, your partner, or your friends and let the art inspire you this Sunday and beyond. The National Art Gallery of the Bahamas, our home for Bahamian art.
Attention RBC clients. To comply with regulatory requirements and to avoid service interruption, you need to update your information at your RBC branch. While you're there, enroll in RBC Digital Banking for 24/7 access to your accounts anytime, anywhere. Update your information and bank at your convenience with RBC Digital Banking today.
At CFAL, we understand that a secure future is the greatest gift you can give your employees. That's why our tailor-made group pension solutions are designed to fit the needs of both large and small companies. With CFAL, you can provide the retirement you and your employees deserve, ensuring peace of mind and financial stability for years to come. Join the many businesses that have already entrusted CFAL to create the right pension plan for their employees, and let us help you build a brighter future for your team. Visit us at cfal.com to get started on building wealth so you can live well. CFAL, growing wealth for future generations.